the bat.
Carey's pretty happy with this, isn't he?
Very close to the outside edge. Can we have a look at Echo, please? Okay, we've got a flat line there. Okay, roll it through nice and slowly. Okay, and roll it through, all the way through, please. Thank you. Okay, we'll go back to Nitin on field. Stay with his original decision of not out. You're on screen now, Nitin.
So not out. No little vibration or spike on what they're calling echo nowadays. 3 for 39. One. Trots in to bowl to Shanto again. Well flighted outside the off stump, and Shanto lunges forward. Defends it back out into the covers.
Just finishing a text, Cam in Victoria, is that playing against lower ranked test playing nations we don't really see tour Australia. Would happily have a winter holiday to go and watch the cricket. Absolutely, Cam.
It's a great option.
Couldn't agree more.
Silly mid-off now as Lyon bowls to Shanto, and it's like it's on repeat here. Shanto goes forward to defend, and a maiden to begin for Nathan Lyon. And that will do us for lunch. We turn and walk off. The review took up a little more time, so it is 12:01, and Bangladesh reach lunch on the second morning, well, afternoon now, at 3 for 39. Shanto's on 23 not out. Mushfiqur is on 4, and they still trail by 107 runs to make Australia bat again. Jason Gillespie, how did you see it all in just a moment? But just a quick reminder for those of you listening on Sport Digital in Melbourne, Hobart, Adelaide, Darwin and Perth. You're about to head off to the AFL Essendon and Port Adelaide. And those of you listening on the Sport Stream and Sport Digital in Sydney, Canberra, Brisbane, you're about to head to NRL Sunday. Now, the reminder here is if you wish to keep listening to the cricket, ABC Listen is the place. The red cricket ball toggle is where you want to be. All right. Jason Gillespie, what did you make of it all this morning?
It looked quite comfortable for Cam Green and Nathan Lyon early. The ball was 40-odd overs old, and they looked quite comfortable out there. Some good bowling for the Bangladeshis. An excellent ball from Shuraful to remove Cam Green for his best test figures of 7 for 45. A beautiful in-swinging Yorker. But then the Australians taking some early wickets. Mitchell Starc leading from the front, was on a hat-trick, I think.
He was, yep.
He was on a hat-trick and
he removed
3 wickets.
He removed, firstly, Shadman and then Mominal for a golden duck.
Yeah, so, look, 3, and they've picked up 3 wickets. So Pat Cummins getting the other wicket of Tanzid, caught down by Mitchell Starc down at deep fine leg. So, look, 3 down. It looks a long way back for Bangladesh. I was very optimistic before play that this was going to be more than a 2-day test. I'm not quite as optimistic now. I do hope that Bangladesh actually play well, get this into a 3rd day, as much as anything for the people here in Mackay. It's people have come from far and wide to watch this. There's a beautiful crowd here, wonderful crowd, great energy, great vibe. Love to see a 3rd day.
It does feel like it's going to accelerate very quickly now, doesn't it?
It really does, mate. And look, it's a shame. We want to see Test cricket. I hate the fact that we've commentated on a number of 2-day tests in recent times, and I think it's quite sad that teams can't apply themselves, and they don't even get the full 90 overs in each day anyway. So. How many overs has been in this game already, Benny? I'm not sure. We'll get that number for you.
That, yeah,
it's extraordinary.
It certainly is. We're going to have 3 2-day test matches in the span of 7 tests here in Australia, which it was unfathomable. It was such a shock in Perth, and yet we're going to have seen it 2 more times in the next 6 test matches.
Crazy.
Just a reminder, a lot of you in Melbourne, Hobart, Adelaide, Darwin and Perth, you're heading off to the AFL. Some of you in Sydney, Canberra and Brisbane on the Sports Stream and Sport Digital, you're heading off to NRL Sunday to keep listening to the cricket. Red cricket ball on ABC Listen, that's how you do it. Bangladesh 3 for 39 in their second innings. They trail by 107 runs to force Australia to bat again. Grandstand at lunch is coming up. We've got some very special guests. That's all to look forward to. It'll all be hosted by Corbin Middlemass, Bangladesh, 3 for 39 in their second dig.
We begin this broadcast by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which this match will be played today and pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. We extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples listening.
Boy, we're going to have some fun.
The AFL in 2026 on ABC Sport.
And the siren sounds. Here we go. Listen to the roar. It is showtime.
You take a seat because it don't get better than this.
Right to the goal line. Jamie Elliott, the man who gravity forgot.
That's why we love AFL football.
On ABC Sport, this is the AFL.
Sit back, relax, witness the greatest. It don't get better than this.
From 45 and rides it all the way home.
An ambitious effort. Unbelievable.
The left foot is a goal. Oh, yeah.
Take a seat because it don't get better than this.
Throws it, kicks on goal. The prancing pony.
What a goal.
He's off and running from 45 to get the party started.
Take a seat because it don't get better than this.
It's bouncing, it's through. Bailey Smith, he'll want the cameras on him right now.
That camera action, baby. Countdown to contact.
Spins around and buries it. Loads up from 55. That's a monster bomb.
40 metres out, snaps towards goal. What a beautiful finish.
Bacon goal square, goes for glory.
He eyes the goals and sends it home.
100% pure footy. Every minute of every match, all season long.
Gathers, snaps, goal.
It's just football at its best.
Take a seat because it don't get better than this.
Kick on goal, dribbles it through. What about that? Took them all on and said, I'll have some of this.
Bailey pinches his pocket and bang, bang, bang. That's the price you pay against the Premier.
Watson snaps. Oh, Watson puts it through. And the Wizard arrives precisely on time. He's built for the big stage. On his left boot, his kick is good.
Inside 50, off a step, turns and goes bang. And snap.
And goal.
There's some bravery through the middle of the ground.
How good is that? What a goal. He wastes no time. He whacks it through for another. It doesn't have to be your night, but it can be your moment. Hands it to Charlie Cameron. He can walk it in. Show him your tail lights, Charlie.
Welcome to ABC Sports coverage of the 2026 AFL Premiership season.
Runs the 50 out. What a way to finish.
On radio
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
and ABC Listen.
You take a seat because it don't get better than this.
The final day of the AFL home and away season reaches its high point in the final match of the three games you'll hear on ABC Sport this afternoon. We're at Docklands as the Bombers and Port Adelaide play out for pride for the final time in season 2026. We'll then take you to the SCG. It's a double header after the Swans look to put a week of public humiliation and shame behind them. They take on the Kangaroos. And the final match of the home and away season, the Hawks travel to the West, knowing they need to win by a massive 90 points if they're to try and climb the ladder and pinch third spot on the AFL season. Great to have your company on ABC Sport. Matt Clinch with you. With victory today for Dean Solomon's Bombers, that would take them off the bottom of the ladder. Do they want to do that? Past the Tigers, while Captain Andy McGrath celebrates his 200th game. Well, for Port Adelaide, it's been a season of change and frustration for first-time coach Josh Carr. And unfortunately, the changes in interim captain as well. Mitch Georgiades, having signed a contract throughout the week, will take on that responsibility, with Willem Drew having suffered a back injury and won't feature this afternoon. Lauren Borton to call the action alongside me. We've made it, Loz, the last day, the last round of the season. Welcome to you.
We have. It feels like a tight turnaround when you're in Geelong last night and then coming into today at Docklands. But Andy McGrath's just run through the banner with his giant face on it, which was nice to see after 200 games, the number one draft pick from a decade or so ago. It's a small crowd that's come in, as you'd expect. I'm just wondering how it'll go in comparison to Thursday night, where there were about 15,000 in for Gold Coast and St Kilda, of course, another dead rubber in terms of the makeup of the finals positions. But I think Essendon have looked like they've had a little bit more spirit in the last few weeks. And, of course, Port Adelaide, there's quite a few losses in their season when you go back and look past it that came under 5 points. So 6 wins on the year, but there could have been a few more there for Josh Carr as they come into today. And the last time they'll run out in Josh Carr's first season as coach.
Yep. The crowd last Sunday night was 24,000 for the game between Essendon and Sydney. It's pretty scarce at the moment with the club yet to announce who will be their next senior coach. And, of course, the Vicentini family, a proud day for them. We have Vigo and Dante who will feature off, so I'm sure the Brighton Beach Football Club and their family will be in attendance as to see who gets the bragging rights this afternoon. Speaking of Port Adelaide, great to have a two-time All-Australian, best and fairest at Port Adelaide. Chad Wingard is with you to watch his former club. Welcome to you, Chad.
Thanks for having me. Exciting to be here. And like I said, it's good to see some of the young players coming through. Again, both these clubs are obviously at the bottom of the ladder for a reason, haven't had a great season. But nonetheless, we're here. I'm looking forward to hopefully a hot contest, and we'll see what we get.
And we're going to need the best work of Bob Murphy. You can hear him on ABC Melbourne with Rochelle Hunt from 6 a.m. Monday to Friday. He's a Bulldogs Hall of Fame member, the 300-gamer former captain. Welcome to you, Bob. Nice to see you.
Good afternoon, gang. Lovely to see you. Nice to be in your company. And I am excited about today. They're just not, just loose words to throw out there just because we're broadcasters. Anyone can coach top of the tables or prelim finals. It takes the absolute best of the best to squeeze out some entertainment for an 18th versus 15th last game of the season, and that's what we shall be doing. This will be perhaps our best performance of the year. We will try and lead the players into the sunlight.
No, I like your optimism. We might need all of it throughout the afternoon. Port Adelaide have lost their last 6. Their last win came against North Melbourne back at round 17. And for the Bombers, 2 wins so far for this season. They've lost their last 4. Their one and only win under Dean Solomon came in round 19 against the Giants after Brad Scott was sacked following their loss to the Tigers back in round 11. And we await the announcement as to who will be the next senior coach for the Bombers. Will it be James Hird? Will it be Mark McVeigh? Will it be Jamie Graham? Could it be Murray Davis, someone left of centre? We will wait to see once the season proper, the home and away, has come to an end and the Bombers will make their announcement.
Or Clinchy, or some stage this afternoon, it is announced mid-game and we have an exclusive. We could. You just never know.
Fireworks.
There's no rules on this stuff.
No, there's certainly not. And
stick around for that, folks.
I've given up trying to guess what I think is going to happen, so I think we'll just let it play out and I'll react when we find out.
Bob, have you got the cameras here ready for your documentary Bombs Away that you've been planning throughout this season, just in case?
Well, I provided the idea for the Essendon Footy Club to film a warts and all documentary of the coaching process. Whether they've taken up that idea, I don't know, but I'm ready to narrate if the footage is available.
Genuinely would be fascinating, though, to get an insight into the coaching process.
I do think it's one of the last remaining blind spots in the game that outsiders must, and it's a mystery to me what these processes entail.
What they bring into an interview
and
showing.
how you can, and what is presented, and then the questions that are asked and the answers given and the differences between candidates. I think it would be absolutely fascinating. It would be a bold, brave move by a club, and you wouldn't expect it to happen anytime soon, but I would love to see it.
There could be no shortage of seasons, depending on how it plays out. You might be up to sort of The Simpsons in terms of Seinfeld, how many episodes, how many series you can do.
The Process, Volume 1.
Anyway, that's what lies ahead for us and you on ABC Sport this afternoon. We might just touch on the events of the weekend. So the incredible result for the Blues, who prevailed by 37 points yesterday against the Fremantle Dockers. The Dockers now have lost 2 of their last 3 as they head into September as the minor premiers. So not a great deal for Fremantle to achieve, but they have stumbled when they've come to Melbourne. And everyone's starting to get excited about the possibility of a Collingwood-Carlton wildcard final. But the Bulldogs had other ideas. A big victory over the Demons at the MCG. Just the D's second loss at the G this season, with the Bulldogs' 21-point victory. So our top 6 are set. Our wildcard matches are set. Collingwood will take on the Western Bulldogs. and Melbourne will take on Carlton. Those time slots still yet to be confirmed. But just your responses, Bob and Chad, as to how we've ended up where we've ended up. It was sort of a topsy-turvy 24 hours.
Well, I believe it was a week ago, Chad, that we were talking about the wild card round and whether we were fans of it, whether we liked it. It's the first year of it, and I know you're a fan of the format, but more broadly, but this is before the games were played and we have our positions. I was far more sceptical at the start of the season, and it's not that the scepticism has completely gone, but I think in terms of a first year of the wildcard system, I'm not sure if we could have gotten a much better result than Melbourne playing Carlton 7th and 10th. Melbourne, who've been absolute runaway success this year, although they were pretty disappointing yesterday, and the Western Bulldogs and Collingwood being genuine wildcard teams. I think if you could have written the script, it's pretty close to note perfect.
That little patch where we thought it would be a Carlton Collingwood at the MCG, just to add something else into the mix.
Yeah, the other thing I love is it rewards momentum. Like Carlton have probably got the most momentum coming into finals out of nearly every team besides maybe Brisbane. And you think they finished 10th. If we didn't have this structure, we wouldn't actually see them in the finals, which would be pretty sad if you're a vivid, not just a Carlton fan, but just a football fan. You want to see the best of the best compete at the end of the season. And like I said, if Melbourne, they've obviously had a bit of a stumble towards the end, you'd almost have Carlton as borderline favourites for that game with the amount of momentum that they've got. And so for me, I love the structure, and what we would have missed out on if we didn't have it would be outrageous. We get a game against obviously Melbourne, Carlton, not just that one, but even the Collingwood, and injuries play a massive factor as well. If there's certain players that have missed a certain stint of the game season and they're so low because of it, so if Nick Dacos doesn't play for a fair bit of the game, where's Collingwood? Probably nowhere. But then when he's playing, obviously they're far superior team. So looking forward to it.
So Carlton fans are up and about, understandably, under Josh Fraser. 11 wins, 2 losses and a draw. And, of course, the announcement during the week that Josh Fraser would be the coach going forward. Do you share Chad's optimism, Bob, that they are the team that could do some damage if they can get past the first stage? Which is
they could do some damage, absolutely. I'm not sure if I would have them in as favourite, but it's a fair question. I think Melbourne would have earned the right over the last 23 weeks to go in just maybe marginal favourite, but I'm not sure if Melbourne are jumping out of their skin to be taking on Carlton. They're red hot.
We had this discussion, maybe it was last week or a few weeks ago, with Coach of the Year. Last week, he surely has to have some consideration, Josh Fraser. Now he's signed. What do you like? His record speaks for himself. He wins that game.
Yeah, no, I understand what you mean in terms of
what he was
quality. I think quantity probably does have to come into consideration.
But it gets
at some
boring
point.
if you just give the coach of the team that wins the minor premiership the Coach of the Year. I like Chad coming in with.
Well, I think the award itself is eternally confused. Surely the premiership coach is the coach of the year.
That's very logical. That's an easy way to try and decide it. And
the Brownlow should go to the best on ground.
Here's the thing with awards. It should be the highest honour for that particular discipline.
Yep.
Let's ask the 18 senior coaches, what would you rather be? The coach of the year or a premiership coach?
Yeah.
But I like where you're going with the turnaround. Or dragging aside from somewhere at the bottom of the ladder.
I would still say I would have Stephen King ahead of Josh Fraser.
We've never had a coach be sacked and then the interim go on to win the premiership. There is that rare piece of history where Alan Jeans had to step aside in 1988 due to health concerns. So he stepped aside and Alan Joyce was able to lead the Hawks to the premiership, but Jeans was able to return, and it was a different set of circumstances.
It was a very good babysitter, Alan Joyce.
He was.
Very good babysitter.
The players are heading into position. It's great to see Zach Butters is in the house. A shot of him on the monitor, so he's made the trip across with his Port Adelaide teammates. Tim Morgan is in the front row for us this afternoon. Tim, welcome to you.
Good afternoon, Clinchy. As Lauren will attest to, we're getting plenty of feedback down the boundary line in Geelong yesterday from the locals. Not sure I'm going to have the same problem here tonight. I'm sitting in a bit of a Pagan's Paddock boundary side. Certainly plenty of seats about 20,000 expected in the house. So not sure the Bombers fans have listened to the call of arms. Dean Solomon gave them the turnout for Andy McGrath's 200th game. And can you blame him, given it's 16 degrees and sunny outside in Melbourne? It's certainly a nice day to maybe do something else for those Bombers fans. Port Adelaide's won the toss. They're going to kick to the left of your dial. No late changes here. So Essendon go in unchanged. Port Adelaide, 3 changes for them heading into this one.
Good on you, Tim. Looking forward to your contributions. I reckon there's more than there was Thursday night already.
I agree.
So I think we've passed the 14,000. And for the final time in season 2026, Essendon and Port Adelaide look to do battle under the roof of Docklands, and a chance to sing the song for one last time to get us underway on ABC Sport. Here's Lauren Borden.
There you go, Visentini standing alongside Jordan Sweet in the ruck. His brother Dante playing for Port Adelaide. Tap out comes towards centre field. Hand passes it to Sharp, who curls a kick to half forward for the Bombers. Lands in the path of Merritt. Hand passes it back to Sharp, who gets brought down in a strong tackle by Bergman. And that'll be holding the footy.
Perfect tackle by Bergman. Just trapped one arm. Still had care of opponent's head. Good call by the umpire.
Early win with Bergman, who shares it by hands with Wines. Goes back to Bergman. He tried to go back to Wines. It goes past him, and Sharp again has the footy for the Bombers. Little hand pass away, finds Clark, but he's found by a couple of power players, Wines and Berry, who wrap him up. And we'll have a ball up half forward for Essendon, kicking towards the Coventry end in this first term at Docklands.
Sweet wins down the tap against Virgo Visentini. Has it locked to his chest. Jordan Sweet, and the umpire is going to ball it up. Signed a contract extension as well, so he's locked in Port Adelaide colours after not being in the side in round 1. Neither ruck get a tap away. Sweet tries to break away. He's tackled immediately by Setterfield, and was still locked up at left half forward for the Bombers. Nate Caddy at full forward for the Bombers. And Sweet wins down the tap. Got it to Burgoyne. Jams a kick on his boot up the wing, but Pryor takes the intercepting mark for the Bombers. His eyes immediately looking inboard. There's nothing on offer, so drives it long in the Caddy direction. Peter Wright also crashed the pack. Getting a hand pass away, Burgoyne links up with Bergman at half-back. And a chance here for Berry. Sends the power up the wing. A chance to finally transition as they take it centre wing. The hand pass comes forward to Mead, and they're out here at right half forward. They can transition inside 50 in the lead from Georgiades. Or from one end of the ground to the other. Bowman involved. Durden linking up. And then the lead eventually taken in the right forward pocket to Mitch Georgiades.
Yeah, pretty poor structure from Essendon. They got leapfrogged because they weren't quick enough to relay that defence and pressure up. So you see they're not quite connected as what you expect for the 18th team in a competition. But, geez, that was good ball movement by Port Adelaide then.
Number 12 for goals so far this season. He's the number 2 player for marking inside forward 50. The acting captain this afternoon to give them the dream start. Mitch Georgiades steers it through from the right forward pocket. And the Power strike first here in round 24. They're 1 straight 6 to the Bombers, yet to score. 2.5 minutes gone on ABC Sport. You're with Bob Murphy and Chad Wingard.
They're just able to get out the back, weren't they, Chad? Open field. The Bombers tried to adjust on the fly, but they weren't able to. Port Adelaide, that was a little too easy. Just a little alarm bell if you're an Essendon supporter of just the ease of which they moved the ball there. Looked more like a captain's run than a game of league footy. But it is only a moment. We'll see if the Bombers can respond, but that was pretty slick by Port Adelaide.
Mitch Georgiades, 47 goals for the season now, so just 47 goals, 46 points. So for a team that's struggling, he's still obviously hitting the board consistently over
a lot of shots,
years.
isn't it?
That's a lot of shots. Not Waterman-like, that's a lot of shots.
Back in the middle, that's Sweet, who can tap it down towards Wines. Takes it, just gets a kick away as he's being tackled by Merritt. Pryor will jump on the footy though for the Bombers. Hand pass to McGrath. Hand pass to Roberts. He flares the kick out wide to Angus Clark. Centre wing. Almost goes to play on. And then slows things down. Going for a run to kick the Bombers inside. Forward 50. Pops it into the pocket. Caddy was at the back of the pack. And Dante Visentini for Port Adelaide. The older of the 2 brothers out there today intercepts and takes the mark for the Power.
If the entries for Essendon towards Nate Caddy are going to be like this all day, the first 2 have been atrocious entries for Nate Caddy.
And pretty cleanly, Port Adelaide are able to work it out of their defence as they find Sweet. He marks and kicks it into the centre of the field. He's able to hit up Richards, who goes streaming through the middle of Dockland, starts the kick inside forward 50. This is a direct turnover as Zach Reid takes it for Essendon.
He looks to kick out to half-back. Setterfield takes the mark. Port Adelaide by 6 points. They're on the overlap, though. Archie Roberts marks for Essendon at right half forward. He pokes a kick up into the right forward pocket. And it's balled out of play. Archie Perkins can't hang on to the mark, and Lockie Jones sees it out for a throw in, 50 metres out from the Bombers' goal. Port Adelaide 1 straight 6 to Essendon yet to score. 4 minutes gone, opening quarter. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden calling the action. Tim Morgan on the boundary. Chad Wingard and Bob Murphy, your call team. Wines gets the clearance to Port Adelaide. Hand pass away to Burgoyne. Kicks it up looking for Marshall. Almost good clean pick up. He now does gather. Hand pass into the middle of the ground. Has the run of Moraes, who sends it out to right half forward. Bam at the target. Great spoil away as Pryor got a hand pass onto it and the foot race is on. Port Adelaide have the numbers.
Well done, Pryor.
A good chase and good pressure. A hand pass went out of play and it's going to be a rewarded free kick going the way of the Bombers. And Jackson Pryor is going to take it for his tackle on Berry.
He's had a good second half of the season, Jackson Pryor. Was strong last week against Sydney as well at the MCG. Nope, they've decided it's going to be a throw-in. It's a little conference on the outer side of the ground. And it'll be a throw-in at half forward for Port Adelaide. Looking towards the Lockett end. In quarter one, tossed in. Visentini takes it for the Bombers. Hand pass to Sharp. He hand passes backwards to McGrath, shares it with Merritt, and then McGrath receives the hand pass back, streaming across left half back, darts it down to Day Wicks, who leaps and takes the mark. Centre wing, city side of Docklands Stadium. First match of AFL on the last Sunday of the home and away season. Kicks it backwards to Zach Merritt.
Keen to have a look at Zach Merritt today. Just with all of the off-field dramas of the end of last season, just to observe.
You'd want to have a good attitude,
today.
wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, you'd last the curiosity for sure.
Perkins inside, forward 50, right, left-handed, right-handed, can't take the mark. Caddy picks it up, has to hand pass it away. Burn Jones takes it for Port Adelaide, hand passes it towards Berry. Plenty of congestion around the footy. As Berry's hand pass flicks out, everyone dives on top of the footy. And 45 metres out from goal, we'll have a ball up inside Essendon's attacking 50. It is a dead rubber, but you do look at attitude. You know, if Essendon's got a new coach coming in, there's someone sitting there looking at the attitude of the players in a match like this, isn't there?
100%. We were just kind of pointing off there. It's a bit of an interesting one around some of the players leaving the contest. And you can see which teams are wanting to get out pretty quickly and which ones not.
Berry to Richards, up the wing. Zach Reid makes the spoil for the Bombers, and it's taken by Day Wicks. Hand pass to Sharp, tumbles the kick inside 50. Bergman got an awkward bounce, couldn't gather. Perkins is tackled by Lockie Jones. The ball spills clear. Port Adelaide take it back. Burgoyne with a hand pass away to Wines. They're breaking through the middle of the ground. Oh, best kick from Berry. Ricocheted into Todd Marshall, and the Bombers take it back. McGrath, hand pass to Roberts. Looks out laterally, and here's Zach Merritt on cue.
Gilles, good hands by Andy McGrath. The Essendon skipper playing in his 200th game was tackled and spun, was just able to absorb that pressure.
Merritt is going to give it off. He chips it over the top, and Archer Day Wicks leads into space in the right forward pocket. He's a little bit closer to goal, maybe an extra 10 metres. But still a tough shot from the left forward pocket, 40 metres out. Zach Merritt playing across half forward in the early stages. Possibility that this could be his last game in Essendon colours. He is contracted, but he did ask for a request at the end of last season, which was denied. Signed till 2027. Day Wicks out to the left, looking for the Bombers first of the afternoon. It's across the face of goal. Wright sits himself, can't take the mark. Numbers front and centre for Port Adelaide. And a chance to cry and clear. The kick from Ware up towards half-back. Marshall trying to present, can't take the mark. It's gathered by Kako of the Bombers. Hand pass away to Harry Jones inside 50. Peter right the target. Can't reel in the mark. He thought he might have had his arms chopped. The umpire disagrees. And a chance for Ollie Wines to clear, although his kick is chopped off. And charging down from defence, Jackson Pryor takes the mark in the left forward pocket.
It's been good, Pryor. He's had a couple of really nice defensive moments. And there he was just on his toes. It was so fast to react, and now he's earned himself a potential shot at goal, although his eyes are darting around.
The old fake dart.
Yeah. Speaking
Tried to do the team thing.
A master of the fake eyes here next to me.
Day Wicks couldn't capitalise. Can the defender Pryor do so? He can't. Across the face of goal from the left forward pocket. And through for their first score of the afternoon. A behind to Port Adelaide 1 straight 6. 9 minutes gone opening term. You can join us on the SMS 0437 774 774.
And Jones and Jones work together to get the footy outside of attacking 50. Richards then comes in, hand passes it back to Burn Jones to Wines, who hand passes it outside of defensive 50 again. Redmond trying to put the Bombers back inside, can get it down towards Kako, who runs into attacking 50, then outside of it. And then centres the pass across to Visentini, who puts the kick inside forward 50 for the Bombers and lands it in the path of Clark. And he takes the mark, and we'll have a set shot at goal from a similar spot to Jackson Pryor moments ago, a slightly better angle.
And that was much better by Essendon. We spoke about that first goal that Port Adelaide got. They were pressing, but the next one was too slow to react for the next press. As soon as they get into a handball chain, Essendon just pressed automatically. So as soon as he pressed, the next one went, and they caused that turnover. Now they get a shot from 40 out.
Angus Clark jogging in. Good kick as he sends it towards goal, but it stays left. Just a minor score for the Bombers, and it's Port Adelaide's lead cut back to 4 points, 9 minutes played in the opening term of this round 24 match on ABC Sport.
So the last 3 shots on goal have gone the way of the Bombers, but it's still Port Adelaide who lead.
Just the Bombers in man-on-man mode as this ball comes in from full-back.
As Lockie Jones goes short to Richards, can work it up to right half-back. Bammett takes the mark. He has a free player in the middle of the ground. It's Burgoyne. The son of a gun swings on his right-hand side, chips out to Darcy Byrne-Jones. And they're on here on the overlap. Hand pass over the top to Bammett. He kicks out wide to right half forward. And a great dash of pace here at right half forward. As the shot on goal slams into the post from Berry. It all opened up in front of himself. He was looking for options inside 50 and then realised he was well within range, but slamming into the left goalpost, a minor score. Port Adelaide by 5 points.
This looks like 1970s football at the moment. Players running around one-on-one. I'm not really sure how to deal with this.
Redmond kicks it to Pryor, who chips it to Merritt, who just chips it down the ground as well. Hits up Day Wicks.
Smell the cut-up oranges.
The deep heat out on the benches. The kick comes down to left half forward for the Bombers. It'll be stolen, though, and taken by Dante Visentini of the Power. His kick a turnover as it lands in the lap of Merritt. Chips it down to Setterfield. He's found his place in the side in the second half of the season. Setterfield sends it inside 50, looking for right. No mark taken. Ball spills to ground. Picked up by Anastasopoulos, and he carries it over the boundary line for a throw-in inside forward 50 for the Bombers. About 20 metres around from the right behind post. 11 minutes played in the opening term. Just the 1 goal so far to Mitch Georgiades. Power lead by 5.
Thrown back in. Bryans in front position, wins down the tap, but a chance for Port Adelaide to try and clear. As it's taken by Anastopoulos, who kicks up towards half-back, but the intercepting mark taken by Reid. His hand pass a little loose, missed Archie Roberts. Bammett tries to knock it clear. Roberts goes in, redeems himself, gets a hand pass out to Merritt from 52, slams it towards the goal line. Caddy tries to shepherd it through against Dante Visentini. In the end, it goes through for a minor score. So they're peppering the goals, the Bombers at the moment. 3 behind, so Port Adelaide 1-1-7.
Bob, Chad, have you ever played a game like this? Last round of the season doesn't mean too much.
Yeah, it's funny you've asked this question. We were just talking about this off air, obviously, before the game started. But my very last game in 2018 was actually a dead rubber. It was against Essendon as well.
So it was Power v Essendon.
Adelaide Oval. I didn't know it was my last game, obviously. Wasn't a Zach Merritt who's requested a trade. It was obviously one that I got traded. So, yeah, that was an interesting one for me playing in that game.
Setterfield darts the kick inside 50. Caddy can't take the mark. Caldwell picks it up, tries to get it to Jones. It's taken by the Power, though, as Brody has it. Hand passes it away to Anastasopoulos. He puts it on his boot and just puts the kick 15 metres ahead of him, where Setterfield can pick it up for Essendon. Hand passes it backwards. Redmond runs onto it and pops the kick to Caldwell. Short one. Centre half forward, Caldwell drops the kick inside forward 50 and honours the lead of Peter Wright, who marks.
It was just a matter of time, wasn't it, Bob? I mean, Peter Wright's been in nearly 4 contests and almost had 4 marks, really. Like, he's been...
Yeah, it's been an almost day for him.
It's been an almost day, and it's only the first quarter. So him and I feel like and Nate Caddy could be on for big days if they get enough supply. They kicked 5 goals last week out of the 11, so they know they can put it on when they do get enough and consistent supply inside forward 50.
6 goals a few weeks ago against Adelaide, a few from free kicks. This one was a good mark, and it ends in a goal, the first of the Bombers' afternoon. And Essendon takes the lead at Docklands, 1-3-9, leading Port Adelaide 1-1-7. 13 minutes played in the opening term. It's Sunday afternoon footy on ABC Sport.
Yeah, as you say, Chad, he's looked dangerous so far, Peter Wright. That's the first time he's hit the scoreboard in a significant way. He's had some good, strong contests. Could have almost been paid a couple of marks in this first quarter. On that occasion, though, it was Caldwell who was in that very dangerous part of the ground, 60 metres out directly in front. And Peter Wright, really clever lead, and the kick was absolutely gorgeous. No chance for the defender there. So that was a forward entry of high class. And if the Bombers are able to capture a bit more of that, they might cause Port Adelaide a few more headaches.
Bob Murphy with you on ABC Sport. Goal number 27 for the season for Peter Wright. Back in the middle of the ground. Tap went the way of Port Adelaide, but it's Andy McGrath in game 200 who sharks the clearance, sends it long inside 50, looking for Caddy, spoiled it down. Here's a chance for Angus Clark. Cuts on his right and misses again. Across the face of goal and just scrapes in from behind to the right-hand side. So 3-point lead the way of the Bombers.
That would have been pretty nice. I mean, that was a Euro step into a shot on goal. Like, that was very impressive. Was that $1 million move, 2-cent finish?
I think it was. A couple of behinds for Angus Clark now in this first term as Port Adelaide work it out to a pack on the outer wing. Jones gets in front, keeps it in by hand passing it to Pryor, but he's very hard up against the boundary line, and he's taken over by Bammett for a throw-in just forward of centre wing to the Bombers' advantage.
Well, the ball is in the Bombers' forward half just here, but in terms of this first quarter, they've kept it in their forward half. 12 inside 50 entries to 3 at the moment. The Bombers in front.
Ryan down to Caldwell, tried to find Kako with a hand pass, chased after it and got there before Burgoyne did. Hand pass to Setterfield. He hand passed backwards to Pryor, very close to the boundary line. Tries to kick it forward. It's a short one. It's stopped by Richards. He's on the turf, has to hand pass it away quickly. It's Bryan of the Bombers who can pick it up, kicks it down the line, looking for Perkins. But it's Jones who stops, takes it, hand passes to Ware, and the Power have the footy as he chips it out to centre wing where he can find Van Wyck.
Van Wyck, 203 centimetre from North Adelaide in the sample. As he just hurries his kick in the end. Bryan got into him. The kick up towards half forward, and that's enough of a mark to be paid. Jack Whitlock in from the side. Just timed his leap superbly and was able to hang on. 200 centimetres, the tall timber all getting involved. He has shown some promising signs for Port Adelaide fans. 22 goals, 24. He's going to give this one off because Burgoyne's all on his own in the pocket. He leads into space and marks on a tighter angle. 45 metres out from goal.
Would have liked him to have a shot, to be honest. I know he's got a big kick. And Jace Burgoyne's obviously not the biggest kick as well, and a tougher angle. So as a tall forward or a tall player, 200 centimetres, would like him to take that.
And the famous number 7 that his dad wore, he fires towards goal from out to the right. It's right to the goal line in the end. It's punched through. Giannis spoils it through for a minor score, and the Bombers lead is 2 points as we tick past 16 minutes gone in the opening term. 0437 774 774. Shout-outs coming through that Alistair Clarkson was never the coach of the year, despite his success with Hawthorn.
No way, really?
No, never the coach of the year.
Wow.
They finished minor premierships?
I'll have to check the records.
Mason Redmond's kick out will be returning his way as Moraes takes it inside forward 50 for Port Adelaide. Hand passes it away. There'll be a shot on goal, and this will be one for Port Adelaide. Anastasopoulos lands it home right towards the Port Adelaide cheer squad end. And he puts Port Adelaide back in front with just the second goal of his career. The Victorian from Newtown and Chilwell. And the Power are out by 4 points. 2-2-14, Essendon 1-4-10. 17 minutes played in the opening term.
Well, Chad, the moment has arrived. Our colleagues here, they have shown bravery. We're passing judgment on the players out there. Neither of us have said the name Tom Anastasopoulos out loud. Now I have. That just leaves you as the final commentator to utter this fantastic surname.
That is
this afternoon.
One of the best, isn't it? Anastasopoulos, is that right?
That's pretty good.
That's
pretty
not
good.
bad. I mean, it was a great finish. He's had a great start. You think about it, he's had 6 touches down in the first quarter and a goal. I mean, he's looked lively.
And for those across the border, if only you could have seen us all practice it as a commentary team before the game got underway. We're in beautiful harmony.
We had some walkthroughs.
If Tom's in for a big day, so are we.
So are we.
A few handball receives with that one.
Will Brodie got it out of the middle, kicks to Wines. Zatto with a kick towards half forward. It's sport out of play and a boundary throwing it right half forward. Port Adelaide by 4 points, 2-2-14 to Essendon 1-4-10. 18 minutes gone in the opening term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Roscoe from WA, a shout-out. Enjoying listening to Bob Murphy on a Sunday. 0437 774 774. McGrath across half-back. Got the hand pass away to Sharp. He's a little slow. And now he's tackled by Zatto holding the ball. Port Adelaide will take it back at right half-forward. Just starting to get the game more played on their terms. As Zatto looks into the pocket. Whitlock the target. It's over his head. Pryor had it sport away from his own teammate, Langford, and it goes out of play in the right forward pocket for Port Adelaide.
Power coming into this weekend ranked 15th on the AFL ladder, 6 wins and 16 losses from their season. The Bombers 18th, just the 2 wins across the year. Tossed in, Sweet just palms it down right towards the boundary line. And it bounces before going over, so we'll have a throw in. Still inside forward 50 for the Power. Up by 4 points as we near time on in this opening term. Sweet and Brian, the two 24s at it. Sweet pushes it down, brings it to ground. Already can't pull it in and make a clean takeaway of it. So McGrath has an in for the Bombers. He kicks it away hurriedly, and Mitch Zatto sits under it and marks it for the Power. And he's 45 metres out from goal, but he points towards the goal face. He's going to have an attempt.
Good pressure there from Port Adelaide. I mean, they've forced McGrath to go like a check side on his right foot. It's gone 30 metres. And you obviously set up defensively to defend that. So
it was a poor exit.
It was a very poor exit.
So Mitch Zatto, the Western Australian, sails this one towards goal, and it's to the near side. And just another behind for this opening term. Port Adelaide out by 5 points, 2-3-15, playing Essendon 1-4-10, 20 minutes played in the first term.
Roberts brings the Bombers back into play. His kick didn't hit Zach Merritt, but has enough time to regather it. Gave it back to Roberts and back to Merritt. Kicks down low towards half-back. Here's a chance for Vigo Vicentini. His hand pass is a turnover, though. Bammett takes it back. Hand pass to Ollie Wines. It opens up in front of him. And from 35 metres out, Port Adelaide have 2 on the bounce. They stretch their lead from 5 points to 11. And they're doing the early running here. 3-3-21 to the Bombers 1-4-10. Bob Murphy and Chad Wingard, your experts. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
That was pretty poor, Bob, wasn't it? From really no pressure from Port Adelaide. I mean,
it was worse than poor.
It was smelly. Like if everyone could see Bob's face, it was a stinky. Like that was very stinky.
It was 2 poor kicks and then a really dreadful hand.
It was, and it's Zach Merritt and Archie Roberts. They're 2 better players, and they were just lazy with their kicks. They looked like they were almost trying to just stat up between each other, get a handball, and there was no real pressure from Port Adelaide. Obviously, it was a great finish from Ollie Wines, and he's obviously good to see him back out there and doing what he does best, but that's really poor. We can't allow that from a kick-in when there's no pressure.
In the middle, Vigo Vicentini, little tap out towards Sharp. Hand passes it to McGrath. He darts it out wide. Clark marks. Outer side of the ground. On the city wing of Docklands. He's running around the 360. Has no idea where to kick the footy. In the end, chips it towards Merritt, who had plenty of pressure coming from Burn Jones. Couldn't take the mark, and Farrow takes it over the boundary line for a throw-in at half forward for Essendon. Peter Wright, their only goal kick up of the first term so far. Port Adelaide have 3 and are holding on to an 11-point lead. Ball gets tossed in. Sweet chases after it. Gets a little tap out towards Richards, and he's wrapped up by McGrath and Caldwell. And it'll be a ball up at half forward for Essendon. So Sweet and Vigo Vicentini again lock arms and wrestle. Vicentini gets the tap out for the Bombers. Wines tries to get hold of it for Port Adelaide, doesn't have to get it towards Bergman, who hand passes it away. A turnover as Pryor takes it. His hand pass, a turnover. Burn Jones can take it and hand pass it towards Moraes. He hand passes it into the centre of the field. That hand pass stolen by Clark. Puts the ball inside forward 50 for the Bombers. A shallow entry. Day Wicks couldn't gather it. Caldwell did. Ball comes out of attacking 50 for Essendon. Clark tries to kick it back in. His kick is smothered by Ware. Spills down. O'Brien can take it for the Power. And he's brought down the tackle by Caddy. And the umpire says that'll be a ball up just inside forward 50 for the Bombers. Port Adelaide ahead by 11 points. 23 minutes played in the opening term.
From the ball up, Sweet one down the tap. Got it to Brody. Hand pass to Burgle and around his body. Clearing kick for Port Adelaide to half back. Corey Durden did well. Won the contest but couldn't hang on to the mark. Lost the footy though. Spills out to Sharp. Hand pass inboard. Roberts gets a hand pass to Harry Jones. Zach Reid a little slow. Didn't get clean hand pass away. Now the pressure does come. Great work from Zatto. Eventually it does get a kick forward from Roberts, but Sweet was well positioned. Works his smaller opponent, Vigo Vicentini, underneath it and takes the mark for Port Adelaide. Through the middle of the ground. Moraes takes the mark. Hand pass away to Burn Jones. Looks up towards half forward. And Georgiades was held in the battle of the marking contest against Langford. Free kick for Port Adelaide.
And it'll be an entry inside 50 off the boot of Jones, right into the lap of Jackson Pryor. Takes it for Essendon, kicks it down the city wing, spots up Merritt, who marks just backwards of centre wing.
She's been good in the early going today, Pryor. She's been Essendon's best player by a mile.
Merritt pops it towards Peter Wright, who's in a one-on-one, can tap it down, has to go after the footy himself, slaps it away. But it's taken by Richards, who puts it down the wing now for Port Adelaide, marked by Georgiades. Just forward of centre wing, a long way from home for Port Adelaide. Chips it out to Burne-Jones, and he marks. Again, centre wing, outer side of the ground. A slow approach coming here from Port Adelaide as he stabs the pass back to Georgiades, holding on to it between wing and half forward for Port Adelaide.
He comes inboard to Darcy Burne-Jones and now loads up inside 50. Whitlock got a run at it but couldn't take the mark. Roberts front and centre. Hand pass to Andy McGrath and game 200. Feeds the hand pass to Pryor. Boundary side at left half forward. Comes inboard with a hand pass to Farrow. He sends a kick up the wing. They're on now as the mark is taken by Merritt. Hand pass over the top to Daywicks. Can he link up with Wright at half forward? He can. Drives it inside 50. Caddy leads up to the footy. And just read the delivery better than Dante Vicentini, who thought they were heading back to goal. And at the last moment, Caddy changed his direction, led up and took the easiest of marks. Out to the left. He's about 40 metres out from goal.
And Nate Caddy just got in such a beautiful position as a forward. We call it the blind side, where you're behind the opponent and they're twisting, swivelling their heads. So they can't see the ball and you at the same time. And as soon as his opponent looks at him, he makes his move and darts back. Beautiful ball movement, beautiful read of the ball.
40 goals for the season for Nate Caddy, looking for the Bombers second as he steers it through. He celebrates with his teammates inside the forward 50. An important steadier after the Power had kicked the last 2 goals of the match. And the margin's back to 5 points Port Adelaide's way. 3-3-21 to the Bombers, 2-4-16. Chad Wingard and Bob Murphy, your experts on ABC Sport.
Well, he's had to work pretty hard, Nate Caddy. That's his first mark, first goal for the young Colt. It was a beautiful kick, wasn't it? Just put it to his advantage. And like you say, Chad, Nate doubles back. Like seeing Nate Caddy take some easy marks in space. We know what he can do when he's allowed for his athleticism to show and he flies. But the next, or one of the next phases of his development will be just to be able to get some easy kicks and take some marks with a bit of space and not have to be so spectacular every time.
Back in the middle, Sweet takes it out of the ruck himself, bombs the kick inside forward 50. Zach Reed's there for Essendon. Just sits back with it for the Bombers. 30 metres out from defensive goal. As Langford short in the end puts it longer towards Setterfield, who's leading to right half-back and marks. Kicks down the wing. Kondogianis can get himself in front position. Sweet comes in from the back, closes late and punches it away. Takes it over the boundary line for a throw-in. So it'll be a ball in just to the left of Port Adelaide's bench between wing and half forward of the Powers attacking goal. Diego Vicentini can take this one unopposed as he shrugs off Sweet.
Huge throwing.
Then he crumbs the ball along the ground. Kako picks it up, hand passes it to Merritt, then gets the handball back from Merritt, and Kako will flare it out wide. Farrow marks, outer side of the ground. The Bombers have switched it to the City side. Wright's on the lead. The ball is delivered onto him and he marks. Peter Wright will have a chance to slot through his second in the opening term.
And this is the concern if you're Port Adelaide again. This is the second shot for Peter Wright, and Caddy's already kicked one. So they've kicked 2 between them. They're only 2 goals for the match. And as soon as they change angles, they look dangerous. So they're playing plumb bob, which is the direct line of goal from where the stoppage is. As soon as they change angle, they went through the corridor on the other side. As a forward, you got all that space in that far side forward 50.
So Peter Wright with a shot towards goal. It starts sailing across to the right. And that's where it ends. Port Adelaide ahead by 4 points now. 3-3-21 the Power, Essendon 2-5-17. 28 minutes played in the opening term on ABC Sport.
Missed an opportunity there. Peter Wright. Missing right.
Don't waste all your good stuff early. Darcy Burne-Jones plays on, sends it towards half-back. Marshall got shoved out of the marking contest, and it's taken by Peter Wright. Little slow to rise, Marshall, as the kick up towards half-forward, and Daywicks hangs onto it. Had to propel his body back to hold onto the mark for half a second. The kick looked like it was going over his head, but he marks just before the quarter-time siren. And with a successful kick here, can give the Bombers the lead.
Jeez, Peter Wright making all the right decisions
early. Oh, boy. It's a long way from home.
Yep.
On his right foot.
7 goals, 9. Archer Daywicks, 2024 rookie. As he kicks after the quarter-time siren, the Bombers the lead. It's not a bad effort. Can it clear the goal line? No. It's stumped back into play. The goal umpire having a good look at it, but the reinforcers are there on the last line. Jordan Sweet alongside Ram and also Dante Vicentini. So at quarter time, it's Port Adelaide who lead by 4 points, 3-3-21 to Essendon 2-5-17. The final game for the Bombers under interim coach Dean Solomon. They've lost their last 4. While for Port Adelaide, their first season under Josh Carr, they're hoping to finish with a win. 6 wins and 16 losses so far for them this season. We have 3 matches to bring you across the final day of the home and away season. We'll head to Sydney for the Swans taking on North Melbourne. That's a double header with the AFLW match to take place before that. We'll bring you all the AFLW results from the weekend at halftime. And then the final match of the home and away season in the West as the West Coast Eagles host Hawthorn. The equation for the Hawks is they'd have to win by about 90 points if they're to climb up from their current position on the AFL ladder and to move from 6th inside to the top 4. And I'm sure our team in the West will be all across what the possibilities will be there. In the cricket, there is a call available from the second test between Australia and Bangladesh. Day 2 in Mackay. And the Aussies having been dismissed for 210. Bangladesh are 3 for 39 in response. Mitch Starc was on a hat-trick earlier. There is a coverage available on the ABC Listen. Just look for the dedicated cricket button. This is Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
How can we believe what we see?
Discover a vault filled with secrets on ABC iView.
I don't know what I'm going to find here.
Mysteries to unravel.
Yeah, I heard that. You sure you're up for this?
Clues to untangle.
It's dangerous. Someone always gets hurt.
All the cases, all the crime.
Nobody wants to believe that their friends are capable of murder.
Shetland, The Capture, Bergerac, Treasure and Dirt, and so many more.
You can't say I didn't warn you.
Delve deep on ABC iView.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Outbus comes forward to meet and they're out here at right half forward. They can transition inside 50 in the lead from Georgiades. The acting captain this afternoon to give them the dream start. Mitch Georgiades steers it through from the right forward pocket.
Oh, well, drops the kick inside forward 50 and honours the lead of Peter Wright, who marks 6 goals a few weeks ago against Adelaide, a few from free kicks. This one was a good mark, and it ends in a goal, the first of the Bombers' afternoon. Moraes takes it inside forward 50 for Port Adelaide. Hand passes it away. There'll be a shot on goal, and this will be one for Port Adelaide. Anastasopoulos lands at home right towards the Port Adelaide cheer squad end.
Day Weeks, can he link up with Wright at half forward? He can. Drives it inside 50. Caddy leads up to the footy. 40 goals for the season for Nate Caddy, looking for the Bombers second as he steers it through.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
Quarter time at Docklands, and it's Port Adelaide who lead by 4 points at the first break. They're 3-3-21 to the Bombers 2-5-17. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borton calling the action. Tim Morgan's down on the boundary. The thoughts of our experts, Bob Murphy and Chad Wingard.
Well, it's been a pretty even contest. I mean, you look at the numbers, it's Essendon's 9 clearances to Port Adelaide's 8. They started to get dominant early in terms of the inside 50s for Essendon, but Port Adelaide were able to get that back to 10 to 17. So down by 7, but they've been efficient inside forward 50, obviously kicking 3 goals 3 to 2 goals 5 to Essendon. So for me, it's been a lacklustre performance on defensive ends from both sides. I think their intent is probably much better, like most sides, I guess, on their offense. But as soon as the team changes direction, so Essendon, when they're going through the corridor or getting a mark from, like you said, the perfect spot, which is the 60 metres out, they probably look more dangerous, I would say. But when they're just boom kicking it or like getting shallow entries, Port Adelaide is able to rebound. So it'd be interesting to see, even if you ask the coaches who's got it on their terms early on, I don't think you could say. I mean, and Port Adelaide, you would say maybe just on just looking at the scoreboard and just the ease that they got their goals potentially. But yeah, obviously both teams are down the bottom for a reason. It hasn't looked pretty early on, but hopefully as the game goes on, we can get a bit more free-flowing footy.
Yeah, I think it's been pretty hard work for the most part by both teams. Maybe Essendon perhaps worked a bit harder and earned themselves, more repeat entries and more of the play inside their forward half of the ground. They just weren't able to capitalise it on enough occasions. Peter Wright has looked really dangerous. Nate Caddy's had a moment, but in terms of their direction towards him, they've still got a lot of work to do to bring out the best of his physical attributes. And there were just a couple of moments, as you say, Chad, that Port Adelaide, they were quite lethargic for huge portions of that first quarter. But when they actually lock in their quality and ball movement and just being able to produce chains of possessions and forwards that can finish their work, it did look like their best footy was superior. But at the moment, the Essendon Footy Club are scrapping away and keeping the game relatively close and the ball in their half.
Port Adelaide with a slim 4-point lead. Tim Morgan down on the boundary for us.
Yeah, Todd Marshall's going to start this quarter on the bench. He spent the entire quarter-time huddle in the hands of trainers. He'd come off and he's getting a heap of tape applied to his left knee at the moment. So looks like he's going to be right to play on, but he's certainly been looking pretty sore throughout that first quarter.
Thanks, Tim. On the SMS, 0437 774 774. T from Melbourne. I think Chad might need a naughty corner. 3 puns per quarter is the quota. I think that was 3 in 3 seconds. And Damo from Parkdale, they don't miss you either, Bob. Bob had Carlton finishing last pre-season. After round 9, he was looking like the boss. Not so much today.
They keep bringing it up.
You sacked your coach.
That's a good response.
You've got to read the fine print.
That's a good response.
T's and C's.
Port Adelaide by 4 points as we get this second quarter underway. Nick Bryan rises up and wins down the opening tap. And the ball will be locked up. It's stuck underneath Ollie Wines and a couple of other players just to the left of the centre circles. Port Adelaide by 4 points. This time Sweet won it down. Burgoyne can't get a clean disposal away. Handpass came out for Port Adelaide. Chopped off by Roberts though. Handpass to McGrath. A little loose for Angus Clark. Races back onto the footy. Ware lays the tackle on him. He hasn't got a handpass away yet. He does now. Burne-Jones races back after it. He's caught by Kako. Neither side getting rewarded for tackling there as the umpire waves play on. Zach Merritt gathers. Gets a handpass clear. Ware tries to knock it away from Daywicks. Kako left it behind. Burgoyne comes crashing in. He has the footy dislodged from him and Clark over the top. The umpire will ball it up at right half forward for the Bombers.
I'm enjoying watching Isaac Kako today. This is the third Bombers game I've had in the last month or so where he's been really quiet. He looks alive today and he's getting involved, tackling and creating opportunities when he's near the ball.
Lions hacks a kick away as he's being tackled by McGrath, sharked on by the Bombers. Daywicks takes it, hand passes it away to Jones, who hand passes it back to Daywicks. He gets tackled. It's back in the hands of the Power. Burne-Jones hand passes it to a teammate who's wrapped up by Kondogiannis. And the umpire will come and throw the ball up. Zato gets up from the bottom of the pack for Port Adelaide. Ball up half forward for the Bombers. Bryan with back position as Sweet gets a tap out towards Burgoyne, runs into a wall of Caldwell. And he's brought to ground for another ball up at half forward for Essendon.
Well, Essendon's definitely lifted their intensity on defence. I mean, if they've been tackling, they're winning that tackle battle, I think, at the moment, 21-13.
Adelaide ahead by 4 points. They were able to win the footy, but then it was chopped off by Jones, who takes it, and he's brought to the turf, and now we'll have a ball up in the centre square of Docklands. Port Adelaide ahead by 4 points.
Sweet took it out of the ruck, got a hand pass away to Berry, but he's locked up immediately. It's still at centre half forward for the Bombers. They trail by 4 points. I'm Matt Clinch alongside Lauren Borden calling the action. Tim Morgan down on the boundary. Bob Murphy and Chad Wingard, your experts. Bryan got it forward. Kako just slapped it away to McGrath. Great kick inside 50 and Perkins rises and takes the mark. Almost directly in front. He's 40 metres out from goal, but he did land awkwardly on his ankle.
That's a tough mark, though.
Good grab, really good grab.
I'm glad that we got a clearance because it was starting to get a bit scrummy in terms of just getting metre by metre with tackles. So great mark. I mean, it was a quick kick from contest and he just read it better. But even the defender, Jones, he gave a good contest in it.
Yeah,
it was just offence bet defence.
24-year-old Archie Perkins is one of a number of players who are out of contract at season's end, so he's playing for a bit more this afternoon. As he comes in from almost directly in front, 45 metres out, his kick flares to the right, just misses. The Bombers 2-6. They've had more inside 50s, more disposals, but haven't converted on the scoreboard. To Port Adelaide's 3-3. The Power by 3 points. 3 minutes gone, second quarter.
Bergman just goes for a little jog into the forward pocket, takes a bounce, and then chips it towards Jones.
What's happening?
Who's dropped the footy. Absolutely should not have done that. A howler as the footy scores to Caldwell, who has a shot at goal for the Bombers and cannot make Port Adelaide pay. Hands in his head, just a minor score, and Port Adelaide's lead is cut back to 2, but that was a bit of a messy passage of play there from the Power. 3 minutes played in the second.
What did you make of the little off-the-ground soccer pass from Zach Merritt there, Chad? I mean,
initially I thought it was lazy.
It worked out. It sort of, lazy's one way to put it.
Burn-Jones long to Sweet. Weir made good of it through the middle of the ground. Kicks up towards half forward. Beautiful hand pass came. And the delivery was superb.
That's not 15.
That's gone 6 max.
That's about 7 metres.
Reyes gave it to Berry. Chips inside 50. Burgoyne takes the mark, but not 15.
That is closer to a smother than a mark.
and this is where, if you're Essendon fans, you'd be frustrated because they're putting all this pressure on Port Adelaide's defence, and the transition game, they're horrendous.
Chase Burgoyne has a tough shot in the first quarter. This is more elementary, directly in front. Only 25 metres out for the first of the second quarter, the way of Port Adelaide. He pops it through, and they continue to keep the Bombers at arm's length. The margin back out to 8 points, 4-3-27, the visitors, to the Bombers 2-7-19. 4.5 minutes gone, second quarter on ABC Sport. You're with Bob Murphy and Chad Wingard.
Yeah, the coast-to-coast transition of Port Adelaide at the moment is just putting a mirror up to the Essendon players, and it's asking them the uncomfortable question of, do you want to defend this afternoon? Interested by this one-on-one defensive setup that it seems like it's a call by Essendon because it comes from the Port Adelaide kickouts. So the theory of it being there, okay, one-on-one, be more accountable. It's
but they're one-on-one.
But you actually have to own an opponent and work hard. And at the moment, Essendon, they're not really responding in the way that Dean Solomon might want.
Burgoyne from the middle will put the kick inside forward 50 for the power. Bounces, can't get to Georgiades. Langford wrestling off the ball. And it is Essendon that win the footy. Pryor hand passes it to Redmond. Gets tackled, dispossessed of the footy. That's holding the ball. And Port Adelaide will have a free kick on the boundary line for Mitch Zatto to take it. Very tough angle. He'll start his kick from the advertising hoardings if he does want to take a shot at the goals here. Gets the security to move off his plastic chair.
If he wants to, of course he wants to.
Back himself in. Mitch Zatto to kick towards goal and try and curl it through. It's completely off the face, across the face, and Jones gives it everything he's got to punch it over the line and make sure it goes through. Just a minor score. Port Adelaide ahead by 9 points, 6 minutes played in the second term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport, the first of 3 games to come across the day of AFL action.
Zach Reid brings the Bombers back into play. Long kick towards Caddy, sport away from him, but he does get a hand pass out to Redmond. Kondo Giannis tries to link up with Merritt, the 2-1-2. Kondo Giannis gives it back to Merritt on the ground. Great kick in the middle of the ground. Caldwell takes the mark. There's a block that was put on in the end, which is successful by Unwin. Allowed the Bombers to transition through the middle of the ground. Centrefield marks. Gets the half pass away to Roberts. Looks out wide. The kick looking for Perkins. Lockie Jones made the spoil. Did well not to give away the free kick. And now a chance for the power across half back. A couple of 1-2s there as it's taken in the end by Lai. Tries to get a hand pass up towards the wing. Chopped off in the end by Setterfield. It gets the hand pass away to Pryor. Hand pass to McGrath in his 200th game. Draws an opponent. Gets it back to Setterfield. He's on the outer side centre wing. Sends the Bombers up towards half forward. Port Adelaide have the numbers in the end. Wine spoiled his own teammate, but the power are able to gather across half back. As Ware's kick inboard to Sweet. Couldn't take the mark. Unwin tries to put the pressure on. Slipping over at the wrong time. The pressure came and Sinopoulos gets a hand pass away. And then Sweet, a nice little kick off the outside of the boot. And it all opens up for Ollie Wines at left half back.
Puts the kick down to left half forward, just bounces a few times before Whitlock can take it, keep it in play, tried to get it to Bammett. Reid was there to pick it up for the Bombers. Hand pass to Pryor, shoves it on his boot down the city wing. He's able to score a mark as Perkins takes it and holds on to the mark. Between wing and half forward for the Bombers. Tried to do a little bit, or tried to do a lot with it before deciding just to chip it to Clark and find his safe hands. But again, he's not sure of where to go. So just decides to load up on the kick to a pack. Caddy was at the front, Bright was at the back. Caddy will be paid the mark. Had enough of it as he was falling down, and Nate Caddy gets a set shot at goal. 45-degree angle, only about 30 metres out. Nate Caddy can kick his second for the afternoon and keep the Bombers in it.
Yeah, Caddy and Wright actually owned both that contest, and they knew where the ball of the drop was better than their opponent, and they actually both could have marked it in the end. So it was
good protection by Peter Wright.
Exactly right.
Yeah, there's a bit of restraint there from Big Peter.
So here comes Nate Caddy, the bright spark of the Bombers, to put through his second of the afternoon. Does not miss. And Essendon has its third goal, 3-7-25. The Bombers. Port Adelaide 4-4-28. Just a 3-point lead. Port Adelaide are holding on by. It's 8 minutes played in the second term. Sunday afternoon footy on ABC Sport. Your experts Chad Wingard and Bob Murphy.
Yeah, similar to the first quarter, they're owning a fair bit of the territory, and finally they've had a fair few shots, but starting to kick it between the middle six. I mean, 3 goals, 7 now. I mean, they could be well and truly blowing Port Adelaide out of the water, especially on their transition D. There's probably 2 things they need to fix up, really, if you're Essendon, and they're right in this fight. Like, they really are. They're dominating the field territory battle. They're obviously looking really strong in the clearances. Their transition D needs a bit of work, but also they're kicking in front of goal as well. I mean, they've had a fair few shots, and just there you can just see what Essendon fans can see in their future with Nate Cady. He's just such a star, isn't he?
Van Wyck into the ruck against Virgo Vicentini. Neither can get a decisive tap, and Sharp has it locked to his chest. The Bombers in predominantly black this afternoon, the black jumper and the black shorts with the red sash across the front. Quick clearing kick for Port Adelaide up towards Marshall. Good to see him back on the ground, trying to knock it out into the path of Zatto. Lost possession though. The Bombers a little careless with their disposals as Andy McGrath gathers. Hand pass to Caldwell, feeds it into the right back pocket where Harry Jones just dinks a kick and works it up to Zach Reid at right half back. His kick is a turnover. Straight to O'Brien, who takes the intercepting mark for Port Adelaide at left half back. Or left half forward, I should say. Turns and comes inboard to Burgoyne. He honours the leader, Moraes. He marks at the edge of the centre square. Sends Port Adelaide long inside 50. The tall timber's there, and Georgiades, I think he's juggled the mark. Whitlock was there. Brodie was there. There was 3 Port Adelaide players against 2 Essendon defenders, and in the end, Mitch Georgiades has been paid the mark in the left forward pocket.
No doubt about that.
Only about 25 metres out from goal, so he's going to try and open up the angle and snap across his body. He has 1 goal so far already, having sealed his future for the short term with Port Adelaide. He curls it through for his second. The acting captain this afternoon, having signed during the week for another 2 seasons. And Port Adelaide now lead by 9 points as they get that goal to answer the Caddy goal at the other end. 5-4-34 to the Bombers, 3-7-25. 11 minutes gone, second quarter on ABC Sport with Chad Wingard and Bob Murphy.
Well, it ends up being a relatively straightforward mark there. Mitch Georgiades is a high, long kick to a contest, and Essendon defenders were nowhere near it. Ended up being a 3-on-1 for Port Adelaide there. Essendon would be disappointed with that. If in doubt, you've got to impact that contest. He might have been a little bit lucky, actually. I may have called that way too early a few moments earlier. Georgiades may not have got his hands first to that.
Might have been a couple other...
Jack Whitlock may have had a big palm print on that one.
Van Wyck in the ruck now for Port Adelaide. Just hacks at it and tries to soccer it away. Doesn't get much contact, so McGrath can pick it up for the Bombers. Hand passes it towards Artemis. Hand pass comes towards Kako. Overruns it. It's Sharp that picks it up for Essendon. Hand pass to Vigo Vicentini. Hand pass to Kako. Yeah. A fend off from him. And he can find the footy across to Farrow. Hand passes it backwards to McGrath. The kick will come into the centre of the Dockland Stadium where Jones will mark. Quick kick, looking for Daywicks. Burgoyne was there to affect the mark. Punches it away. Caldwell goes in with desperation to take it. Hand passes it to Redmond. He can hold on to it, and he'll hand pass it out to Sharp. 52 metres out from goal for Essendon. Kicks it very quickly towards the pack forming in the left forward pocket. It was a mark to Van Wyck, but this will be a free kick that comes to Caddy. He wrapped contest of players.
He wrapped around his belly as he went to change direction, go for the fly. So actually stalled him for about 1 or 2 metres. So good call from the umpire.
Nate Caddy off a couple of steps, curls this one through for his third. And it might be a dead rubber, but Nate Caddy is up and about and high-fiving anyone that comes near him. He's got spirit today. Port Adelaide's lead is cut back to 3 points again. Essendon 4-7-31, Port Adelaide 5-4-34.
Jeez McGrath, you talk about a 200-gamer and captain. He's been super impressive.
Yeah, he's looked great today.
Oh, I mean, just this quarter, he's had 7 disposals going at 100% efficiency. He looks by far the cleanest player on this field right now, whether it's below the deck, ball in hand. He's been super impressive and one to watch. I mean, he definitely means a lot for him. I mean, you think about a player as a dead rubber, but geez, what's he up to? 16 disposals for the day, going a 94 efficiency. So
you see the energy. Like, even on that occasion where he wants to change direction and get his teammates into the open field, and that's when Essendon looked dangerous.
Only Zach Merritt has had more disposals with 18. Sharp out of the middle of the ground, kicks the Bombers out towards half forward. It's taken by Ware of Port Adelaide into the middle of the ground for Bammett. Cut the hand pass to Van Wyck. Their big tall ruck got the hand pass away to Durden, and now a chance to kick it up towards half forward. Mark taken by Bammett. Sends it out wide. Here's Georgiades on the lead. I'm interested in some of the matchups in which the Bombers are going with. He had Reid on that occasion as he's going to centre it here to Todd Marshall, and he's got the opponent of Harry Jones. So the key defenders for the Bombers have been Jones, Reid, and Cole Langford in defence.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if that's something they're going to stick with for the future, but they're trying it this afternoon.
Doesn't look like it's a long-term plan on the evidence of today, but it is only relatively early.
So the Port Adelaide forwards will be rubbing their hands together with the possibility if they can get enough delivery inside 50, they're going to have their hands full. Todd Marshall, after an ankle injury in the first quarter, he fires towards goal and misses to the right-hand side. A minor score. So Port Adelaide leading by 4 points as we tick past 15 minutes gone in the second quarter. This is Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
Jackson Pry with the kick-in duties goes as long as he can out towards half-back. And Lai is happy to punch it away ahead of Perkins for a throw-in. And Wigan half-forward for the Power. Holding on to that 4-point lead. Defeated Essendon by 63 points in round 2 this season when these sides last met. Tossed in a shallow throw-in. Van Wyck just runs after it and gathers it himself. Hand passes it away. Setterfield steals it for Essendon. Hand pass to Bryan. Hurriedly puts it on his boot and kicks it down the wing. There you go, Vicentini. Got a couple of hands to it. No mark paid. Burgoyne pounces and can use the footy by hand passing it backwards, where Lyle then put it down the wing for Port Adelaide. Bryan taking in a tackle, threw it out. Setterfield picked it up, hand passes it close to the boundary. It's stolen by Bergman. Hand pass to Whitlock in the hands of the Power at half forward. And Zatto is tackled and taken over the boundary line for a throw-in.
Good tackle by Redmond. Yeah, left his opponent, came up hard, tackled Port Adelaide player out of the ground. It was just good initiative, good aggression from Redmond, which we've come to expect from the Bomber.
Port Adelaide in their teal blue with the black V and the white shorts this afternoon. Thrown back in. Chance for Brodie. Got the hand pass away. Flying shot on goal from Bergman. It's right across the face of goal, and Georgiades racing after it. Can't get a hand to it. Out of bounds on the full.
Did you ever wear that jumper, Chet?
No, I haven't. It actually looks elite, though. I'm pretty happy with it.
I think it was new for Gather Round this year.
Yeah, it was. The long sleeve one I have wore it this year, actually. as a fan, it was...
that turned quickly.
Yeah, hang on, we're coming back to this.
Have you got it on now?
Surprised it fit, actually. It must be an XL.
Reid's clearing kick. The Bombers under pressure. And Asasopoulos tried to link up with a hand pass away to Ware, and that's where Unwin lays the tackle. The ball locked on the outer wing. Port Adelaide by 4 points, as Chad Wingard's revealed. He's got a Port Adelaide jumper. It's taken here. Kako stripped of it, spills out. Bergman holding the ball. Free kick Port Adelaide. No advantage taken. Now it is. Out of the middle of the ground. The kick from Ware. Into the pocket. Bammett takes the mark, and Mitch Georgiades says, yep, that's okay. As he went back with one arm despite the key forward leading out to the right forward pocket. There's some forwards that wouldn't be quite as complimentary.
It's a good grab, good bravery, good skill, dexterity to be able to drag that down with the 1 mitt.
5 goals, 5 for Xavier Bammett so far. Having got his opportunity in Port Adelaide colours this season. He's out to the left, looking to try and extend their lead. He fires towards goal and puts it through. So the Power all of a sudden look to try and make their move. They're out by 10 points. This arm wrestle of a second quarter continues on after Port Adelaide led by 4 points at quarter time. Daywick had a shot after the quarter time siren which would have given the Bombers the lead. He missed. And Port Adelaide with 3 goals to 2 so far in this second quarter. Bob Murphy and Chad Wingard, your experts. Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange one. Like, everyone kind of stopped. There was a free kick, whistle blown. Port Adelaide obviously coming out of stoppage without Essendon really on the back of the heels. Just gets a good look. But yeah, going back in front of your full forward's probably not a something I would want to do consistently. But
I mean, he is the captain.
He is the captain.
You know, he should be more we than me, but he is a full forward.
Could you imagine
between
Richo?
2 worlds?
Could you imagine Richo
being captain? No.
Well answered.
And Xavier Bammett in his 10th game just comes in, slots the goal at least as Brodie takes it from the middle for Port Adelaide, inside forward 50. Marshall and Van Wyck were there. Ball spills to ground and Pryor will take it. Hand pass it to Roberts, who clears it away to Kondogiannis for Essendon, left back pocket. So, Chad, you thought you didn't have one of these jumpers and then you realised you do actually have one in your closet and you wore it this year.
Yeah, 100%. I've got to give it for gather round. They're pretty generous with the sizing, so they obviously know I've retired. So just in case,
No judgment.
Long sleeve, though. I was pretty pumped with it.
Yeah.
It looks sick. I reckon it's one of my favourite ones.
It does look good, the teal with the black V. At least they know you well getting you the long sleeve.
Sick is good, by the way, folks. Yes. If you're wondering, 0437 774 774. That's a good thing. If something is sick, what the cool kids describe it as.
Cool kids.
It's been around for about 20 years.
Yeah, I was going to say, Bob, come on.
Port Adelaide win it back at half-back. Ware takes it and just chips it out to Dante Visentini. His kick down the line, a turnover. His brother's got it. Vigo with the footy. Kicks down towards the front of the Essendon bench. Merritt will win it back. Hand passes it to Kondogiannis, who puts it on his boot and darts the kick forward. It's a good one that hits up Unwin on the chest. He can move on to Sharp, who tried to hand pass away to no one. Runs into Dante Visentini, who then gets a knock. Ball spills out. Sharp can take it. He'll put the kick inside forward 50. It's a very hurried one, and Bergman is there to take it for Port Adelaide. They're up by 10 points.
It's pretty scrappy, but the intent from both sides. Unwin made the error, tried to make good, and the kick from Bergman is a turnover. Intercepting mark taken by Mason Redmond. He plays on middle of Docklands. Drives along in the Nate Keddy direction. He's got three to deal with. Shoved them underneath. Almost took the mark. Then it spills to the ground. Gets the hand pass to Caldwell. Hand pass to Merritt. Spots Unwin. Centre and kick. Can he get to him? No, he can't. Lunging forward. He dropped the mark. And it's taken by Port Adelaide. Moraes gets the hand pass away. Bergman dodging and weaving across half-back. He swings the kick out towards the back pocket. Dante Visentini takes the mark. He looks up the wing. The hard running of Corey Durden as he takes the mark centre wing. He wants to poke a kick over the top to Ollie Wines, who's running into space in front of Van Wyck. He plays on around the boundary line. Looks up inside 50. Trying to get it to Sweet, who is the deepest target. Can't get it there. Georgiades there as well. It spills out. Langford's hand pass, little loose. Looking for Caldwell. Gathers 20 metres out from his defensive goal. Gets the hand pass back. It's taken by Artemis, who sends the Bombers out towards half-back. Perkins had it spoiled away from him. Foot races on. Getting back there, it's great desperation from Anastasopoulos, and eventually he's taken over the boundary line and a throw-in. Left half forward for Port Adelaide. They lead by 10 points, 21 minutes gone, second quarter on ABC Sport.
So about 20,000 expected in Docklands under the roof today. Sunshine outside, as Tim Morgan said earlier on today, as Brian takes the kick for the Bombers, puts it down the wing. It's coming back his way as Port Adelaide win it. Moraes takes it and just chips it out to Durden. Marks it left half forward. He'll go with a short, just 15-metre kick to find Sweet.
They're just making it up today.
It has been paid 15 metres.
Yeah, they're just making it up today of how far it is in pay to mark.
That'll do.
Could be some umpires last game of the season as well. So Sweet absolutely goes bang from 53 metres out. The kick to him might have been 8 metres, but he kicks from outside the arc. And Jordan Sweet, what a finish there from the Port Adelaide ruck. And Port Adelaide's lead is now out to a game high 16 points, 7-5-47 the Power, taking on the Bombers 4-7-31. 22 minutes played in the final, in the second term, the final game of the season for both of these two sides.
Bit of conjecture about whether it was the required 15 metres to be paid a mark, but there's no conjecture about the finish and whether Jordan Sweet had the distance. That was a sweet hit from the big ruckman there. It's good enough for you, Chad. It's good enough for old Bobby boy. But that was a gorgeous kick of the footy. Jordan Sweet arcing around, kicking it from right on 50 and absolutely slammed it through.
Port Adelaide with 4 goals to 2 so far in this second quarter. As Richards gets the clearance away for Port Adelaide, sends it up towards half forward. Desperate defending from Mason Redmond, tries to slap it out towards half back. But a chance for Port Adelaide. Anastasopoulos looks to kick inside 50. Georgiades tried to shove Langford out of the way. No whistle. Van Wyck got down low, gathered it. Hand pass chopped off though. Harry Jones clears for the Bombers. Out towards half back. Setterfield dropped the mark. He's got enough time to regather. Hand pass to Kondogiannis. He's trying to step through a tackle and he's penalised holding the ball. Jace Burgoyne to take it at right half forward.
Van Wyck is a famous freeway in New York, I believe.
Come back to that. He pokes the kick into the pocket. Van Wyck wanted it in the goal square, but in the end, spots up the captain, Mitch Georgiades, acting captain this afternoon, who had the height mismatch on Kyle Langford.
If you can name another league footballer with a surname that matches a freeway or highway, 0437 774 774.
Georgiades is going to curl this around the corner. A superb finish from about 30 metres out as he steers it through for another for the Power. His third of the match, and he is threatening. Port Adelaide all of a sudden lead by 22 points, 8-5-53 to Essendon 4-7-31. The Power leading by 22 points. Time on in the second term in the cricket. Bangladesh are 3 for 50, still trailing Australia's first innings by 96 runs. Coverage, of course, available on ABC Listen if you want to keep across all the action in Mackay.
Yeah, Port Adelaide starting to flex their muscle a little bit. Obviously, they've got the Twin Towers there that are dominating up front for them. But I want to talk about how they're setting up the field. Like, that kick out from Essendon was very lucky. It was one in between three Port Adelaide. So they're setting up when they're going inside 50. Very strong. And like I said, that was a great tackle by Jace Burgoyne. I mean, he's obviously sleight of frame, but not sleight of attack. What a great kick inside forward 50 too.
Up in the middle, the ball comes down. Richards soccers it away for the Power to half forward. Whitlock running after it. He's taken by Reid, who holds on to him and locks him up at half forward. The Farmer Freeway in
there you go.
Perth. That's the most obvious one.
That's a literal one.
That's a literal name, quite literally named after a footballer.
It's a good one. Hey, they all count.
I think there's a Whitten Bridge now as well, but the footy's kicked down the wing from the Bombers. It's taken though by Burn Jones, who hand passes it to Wines. He soccers it along the ground as well. And Farrow has the footy. He's tackled by Burn Jones as well. So just forward of centre wing.
There was a
Stewart Highway.
There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Stewie Jew.
Yeah. Well, we prefer the surnames, but
true.
And it's okay.
Is there a Stewart?
Tom Stewart.
Tom Stewart.
There we go.
I think there's been a few Stewarts.
Yeah. Small forward for Carlton back in the day, Hume.
Ooh, that's a good one. Brian kicks long down the wing for Essendon. Again, it's a scrap to win the footy. Merrick can take it. Hand passes it to Setterfield. Across to Caldwell. Hand pass to Daywicks. Inside 50. He sends the footy to Kako. Dodges right and left. A tiny little kick finds Clark. Has to get rid of it quickly. Across to Caldwell, who kicks from the pocket. Centering ball towards Nate Caddy, who has clunked the mark. And he doesn't stop Nate Caddy. He had plenty of power players around him. Got rid of one, rose above the other, and will now have a set shot from 15 metres out, angle to the left. So Nate Caddy doesn't waste time, puts it into the second tier for his fourth. And Nate Caddy's having a day out in his final game of the season. And just slowly cutting back that Port Adelaide lead. It's back to 16 points. Essendon, the home side, 5-7-37. Port Adelaide, 8-5-53. 26 minutes played in the second term on ABC Sport.
Well, you go.
Made the comment in the early going of the first quarter of just the delivery towards Nate Caddy, and we know his athletic profile, and he tries his guts out. He red lines it for 4 quarters, Nate Caddy. But if the delivery's a little bit off, he just has to work too hard. In the last 20 minutes or so, you can just see them being a little bit more thoughtful with their entries towards him. And if he gets a run and jump at it, he's not just exciting. He's such a threat, and he's giving Port Adelaide some headaches down there.
So Georgiades with 3, Nate Caddy with 4 at the other end. Port Adelaide by 16 points. Sweet rises up, wins down the tap. Can't get a decisive clearance away. McGrath tries to knock it out for the Bombers. Setterfield tackle by Wines. It spills out. Berry one direction. Coming the other way was Artemis. Neither get a clear disposal away. Farrow has a go at it. He kicks up towards Caddy at half forward. Awkward bouncing ball. Dante Vicentini worked out of it. Caddy gathers. Hand pass over his shoulder looking for Kako. Desperate defending from O'Brien. He drags it in. Needs to be careful. Umpire spotted that. Holding the ball. And the free kick going the way of the Bombers. Archer Daywicks over the top. He's going to get the shot on goal from directly in front. Only about 30 metres out. A chance to kick a couple of quick goals here for the Bombers.
And that was smart by Essendon. No one jumped on the ball. It was only the one tackler. And we actually used to have this at Hawthorn when the game was in the balance, that if they do try and bring it in, make sure everyone gets up. And you can see everyone was appealing for the free kick. I don't think, as well as the crowd. I mean, I feel like the crowd were hovering as well. So good intent. And hopefully they can reward themselves with a set shot here from 30 out.
Archer Daywicks had that shot after the quarter-time siren, couldn't convert. He's kicking into the Port Adelaide cheer squad here as he looks to peg one back for the Bombers and misses badly, leaning back to the left-hand side. And Port Adelaide lead by 15 points. Thanks to all the people who message on 0437 774 774. The Farmer Freeway has blown up the SMS, Bob. There's lots of people who wanted to make sure we knew that one.
Yep, we got that one. We put that one on the list. We're just going to try and complete the set now. We've got the Van Wyck.
Probably Bill's my favourite. The Southern Expressway in Adelaide, although as we know it, the Danny Southern Express.
Nice.
Yeah. Bergman's kick long out to the wing. Van Wyck gets a free kick. We can check in with Timmy Morgan on the boundary.
Yeah, I'm just going to throw out the Bruce Highway. Josh Bruce.
Yes.
Oh, well done, Tim.
Yep.
Van Wyck dumps the kick inside 50. It was a long ball in. Hits the back of the pack where Langford can take it. Hand pass across to Jones. He puts it out wide. Caddy runs onto it, gathers, and then puts on the afterburners to try and get away from Jones. Just gets a tackle on him.
Oh,
the
kick.
Caddy's able to get the footy away. And then it's Port Adelaide, though, who can win it back as the kick comes inside forward 50 from Lai. And Georgiades marks 45 metres out from goal. He goes to play on, and then he gets word from Jones to just stop.
Robust feedback from his interchange bench there, Mitch Georgiades.
Hold up.
He doesn't know what's going on, Mitch.
Here's the siren.
Relax, Skip.
So go back and take
no
your
choice
kick.
now.
Mitch Georgiades has 3 on the afternoon. As he comes in after the halftime siren, releases his kick from right on 50, swinging this one towards goal. It's across from the left. Just doesn't come back enough. And that means that the halftime margin here at Docklands between Essendon and Port Adelaide will be 16 points the way of the Power. Port Adelaide 8-6-54, Essendon 5-8-38. It was 4 points the margin the way of Port Adelaide at quarter time, now out by 16 points at the main break. The goal kickers so far, Essendon, Nate Caddy with 4 goals. 3 of them came in that second term, and Peter Wright with another for the Bombers. And then for Port Adelaide, Mitch Georgiades, who just had that shot, has 3 goals for today. And then singles for the rest of the team. Ollie Wines, Jordan Sweet, Tom Anastopoulos and Xavier Bammett. And Jordan Sweet as well with singles.
So a 5-3 second quarter the way of Port Adelaide. Before the analysis of Bob Murphy and Chad Wingard, if you're the captain, does that allow you the responsibility to just have a barrel when you might not normally have done that?
I'm a bit curious about why Mitch Georgiades needs to kick a barrel.
I'm in the same
from
camp.
About 50. He's got the journey, doesn't he?
You'd think so, normally.
I mean, to be fair, he hit the torpedo really pretty well, but he's got the distance in him, surely.
He looked a bit uncertain when he marked too.
He looked like a debutant. As soon as he took the mark and the interchange was screaming at him, and he's like, rush, I've got to kick it before the siren. Like, skipper, just relax.
You know what throws players, though? The thought that if they step off their line, they're going to be called to play on. So it's almost like he just came straight knowing that he wouldn't be called to not have the shot.
So maybe that's why he went the torpedo. He's gone the barrel. Well, he almost nailed it. It didn't miss by a whole heap, and he's looked really dangerous. Mitch Georgiades and Port Adelaide, well, they look pretty dangerous in that quarter. Although Essendon, they showed a bit of fight as well. They're not out of this game by any stretch, but you do feel like just with the quality, and particularly the quality up forward, when Mitch Georgiades is taking 7 marks for the half and kicked 3 goals, 1, that is pretty ominous. But equally, up the other end, Nate Caddy came to life in that second quarter and got a couple for himself. So we're set for a decent second half here. It's scrappy, as you would expect, for a dead rubber for teams sitting 18th and 15th on the ladder coming to the last game of the year. But there was just a little moment that I want to point out, because Essendon, as a footy club, have been a punching bag for a long, long time now. But there was a moment where Daywicks was it Daywicks who got the free kick for holding the ball? As that was happening, about 70 metres off the ball, when the umpire made the call, Jackson Pryor was giving the biggest fist pump to his teammates. And I thought, you know what? That's no small thing. That's a player who is still energised and cares for his teammates and his footy club. And it just gave me a little bit of hope that Essendon have got a bit of fight left in them for this second half.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And they're actually winning a lot of I suppose the stats will normally put you in a pretty good, fit for the game. But they're winning the disposals. They're winning the inside 50s, 27-24. The clearances, the hit-outs, across the board, centre clearances and stoppage clearances, that's 19-15 for the game as well. So for me, it's just that last kick inside forward 50. And obviously the kick, obviously after that one as well, they're not kicking as straight. And Port Adelaide, the transitions, they just look so much superior going inside forward 50, as you can tell by the scoreboard. But Essendon, they're up for the fight. I think we've seen a far worse version of Essendon throughout this season. And when it comes down to it, is a 200th game. It is someone that you're playing for, someone that meant so much to this club. So I expect at half-time they need to lean in on that, because they are going to chair Andy McGrath off, and it's going to feel much better end to the season getting a win for one of your teammates. And like you mentioned before with Pryor, the care. And nothing says care more than celebrating the small things, as you just mentioned.
Yeah,
whether it's a tackle, whether it's a
passion.
spoil, and it's off ball. It's not something that you did for yourself individually. So, if anything, I think Essendon, their defence looks a bit jumpy. And we mentioned their tall backs. So that's something that you can't really change because it's personnel. But the way they go about it is something I think they're going to be strong in at halftime.
Chad Wingard and Bob Murphy with their thoughts to halftime here at Docklands. It's not a dead rubber because the Bombers can move off the bottom of the ladder if they get victory, and they would replace Richmond. So whether they want to win or not, that's a conversation for a little later. But the Power leading by 16 points at halftime.
Steady-ish.
It's close enough to be called well cooked, isn't it?
It's steady-ish.
There's so many suggestions coming through from freeways, which Bob Murphy threw out.
Yep.
You know what? I'm going to do them on the other side as we bring you the latest from the ABC newsroom.
ABC News with Satyam Weinstein. The Invasive Species Council says confirmation of the H5 strain of bird flu in a mammal for the first time in Australia is devastating news for wildlife, but not unexpected. South Australia's Department for Primary Industries says a long-nosed fur seal was found dead with no signs of injury at Beachport in the state's southeast on August 19th, with CSIRO testing confirming it was infected with the virus. The council's CEO, Jack Goff, says the case is a watershed moment.
We saw mammal-to-mammal transmission overseas, seeing high levels of mortality, particularly among pups. So if you look at elephant seals on Cape Valdez in South America, they had a 95% death rate when bird flu came through. So this is a very deadly virus, and we can expect significant population declines.
Tensions between the US and Canada are intensifying, with both sides imposing tit-for-tat tariffs. Kerry Worthington with the story.
Canada will begin imposing import duties on US steel, electronics and other goods from next month. It comes after the Trump administration slapped a 50% tariff on some Canadian products following the collapse of trade talks yesterday. Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney says the American demands to reach an agreement were unacceptable and a bad deal. The decisions won the backing of provincial leaders, with the Premier of British Columbia, David Eby, saying the US administration cannot be trusted.
Just can't trust Trump. Even if an agreement had been signed, how long would it have lasted?
American officials say it's a missed opportunity for Canada to partner with the United States.
Tropical storm Mocha is set to bring strong winds and heavy rain to Hawaii's Big Island in the coming hours. It comes just a week after Hurricane Lala caused widespread damage on the island. Lala saw a metre of rain fall in just a few hours, with flooding sweeping dozens of homes off their foundations, while strong winds downed trees, tore off roofs and knocked out power for tens of thousands of people. Forecasters say Mocha is packing winds of around 85 kilometres per hour, and residents can expect up to 380 millimetres of rain. The sacked editor-in-chief of the US military newspaper Stars and Stripes says he was dismissed by the Pentagon via a post to social media. The paper is funded by the US Department of Defense but is editorially independent via a congressional mandate. The publisher and a number of senior reporters have also been fired. Eric Slavin says he was sacked for insubordination after saying in an interview that censorship would be a red line.
That was my unofficial opinion that I gave, and they asked me what my red line would be. And I said if there was a perfectly accurate story that we weren't allowed to run, and then they gave us something else that was written by the Pentagon, that would be a red line for me. I never said that I would disobey any sort of directive. I simply explained what I thought the rules were.
Residents of Brookfield and Brisbane's West have turned out in force in a walk of solidarity, showing support for women's safety in the community. Chelsea Malunga reports.
About 500 people joined the walk from Rafting Ground Park Road to Brookfield Showgrounds. It was organised in the wake of the alleged sexual assault of a 23-year-old woman who was walking along Brookfield Road on Thursday morning. Local MPs, including Jonty Bush, the member for Cooper, delivered speeches, and a station was set up for community members to write letters of support to the 23-year-old woman. Organisers say everyone who attended was sending a message that the community won't stand for violence against women.
Around 70 cars have been sold for charity as part of the third and final Shitbox Rally of 2026. The event saw hundreds of participants drive cars worth less than $1,500 from Adelaide to Darwin. Danny took part in the rally and says he's surprised his car made it.
Very surprised. We blew through 5 tyres on the way. We had these really cheap knockoff rims that were low profiles, and this thing's not made for the off-road. That was the big problem, to be honest. Everything else, it was absolutely legendary, this thing. Yeah.
At least $2.4 million was raised for the Cancer Council. You're up to date with the latest from ABC News.
One of Australia's most recognisable broadcasters is facing the biggest battle of his life. Alan Jones has pleaded not guilty to multiple historical sexual assault charges, and now the case is before the courts.
I'm not going to dwell here on the allegations made about me, other than to say that I refute them entirely.
As witnesses step into the box and the evidence unfolds, the Case Log podcast will be your eyes and ears inside the courtroom. Search the Case Log podcast on ABC Listen or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Clark decides to load up on the kick to a pack. Caddy was at the front, Bright was at the back. Caddy will be paid the mark. Here comes Nate Caddy, the bright spark of the Bombers. Put through his second of the afternoon. Does not miss.
Port Adelaide long inside 50. The tall timber's there, and Georgiades, I think he's jumping the mark. Having sealed his future for the short term with Port Adelaide, he curls it through for his second.
Durden marks it left half forward. The short, just 15-metre kick to find Sweet.
That'll do.
Could be some umpires last game of the season as well. So Sweet absolutely goes bang from 53 metres out. The kick to him might have been 8 metres, but he kicks from outside the arc.
Georgiades is going to curl this around the corner. A superb finish from about 30 metres out as he steers it through for another for the power. His third of the match, and he is threatening.
Clark has to get rid of it quickly. Across to Caldwell, he kicks from the pocket, centering ball towards Nate Caddy, who has clunked the mark. Nate Caddy doesn't waste time, puts it into the second tier for his fourth.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
Half-time here at Docklands, the final day of the home and away season. And for a number of clubs, it comes to a close at the end of today. It's Port Adelaide who lead by 16 points at half-time. 18-8-6-54 to the Bombers, 5-8-38. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borton calling the action. Chad Wingard and Bob Murphy are your experts, with Tim Morgan down on the boundary. After us, it's a double header from the SCG as Sydney take on North Melbourne in the men's competition, also in the AFLW, while the final match of the home and away season, the West Coast Eagles hosting Hawthorn, and the Hawks would have to win by about 90 points if they're to climb inside the top 4. In the cricket taking place from Mackay, it's day 2. Bangladesh in trouble, 4 for 63. After Mitchell Stark has picked up 2 wickets. He was on a hat-trick earlier in the day. Nathan Lyon has picked up 1. Pat Cummins has picked up 1 as well. So Bangladesh 4 for 63 in the 25th over, still trailing Australia by 83 runs to try and make the Aussies to bat again. Coverage available on ABC Listen. Just look for the dedicated cricket button. AFLW action in full swing as we move into round 2, and so much intrigue as to and support for the Sydney AFLW side in their doubleheader at the SCG, Loz.
Well, absolutely. It was always locked in as a doubleheader, this game at the SCG. They've been successful so far after a couple at Docklands and one at Cardinia Park yesterday, which had a few come in to watch a big win for the Geelong Cats women's side before the men's got the job done as well against Richmond. So a big day at the Cattery yesterday. But, of course, at the SCG today, there were calls from the Giants team in Sydney as well to get out and support the females there and come across to the first match match of the AFLW, and ABC 702 Radio Sydney reporter Georgie Carroll is outside the SCG. And Georgie, can you just give us an insight into how many people have come in to have a look and watch the AFLW match, which is in its third quarter now?
Yeah, hello. Really decent crowd here. We just had a big roar from the crowd as I think Sydney just scored a goal. It's been very steady all morning. I've been here nice and early talking to fans. I believe that it is looking like they are going to tick over that record crowd for the AFLW game, which is really exciting. I have actually, as you mentioned, the Giants did a call out asking any of their Sydney fans to go that are going to be in Sydney this weekend to go to the Swans game. I did speak to a couple of Giants fans earlier today who had made a special trip out to the SCG to support the Swans. I think you might be able to hear the crowd roaring again. It is pretty special when you hear the crowd roar here today.
I think Sydney has just gone up in the match too against the Bombers, so it looks like a tight finish there. There were people saying that perhaps some fans will leave before the men's game. Obviously, the match hasn't finished yet, but what are you hearing from outside the ground?
Yeah, look, a lot of the people that I spoke to today hadn't actually decided what they were going to do. It sounded like it was something more that they were going to decide in the moment. I did speak to a couple of people that are very definitively going to leave as soon as that women's game finishes. But I think for most people, they are just going to, I guess, kind of sit with their emotions at the time and see how they're feeling. I have actually spoken to quite a lot of parents of children who spoke to me about how they've been navigating some really difficult conversations about how some of their favourite players won't be taking the field this week. So I think really a lot of fans just want to do their best to rally their support around the entire club in what has obviously been a very difficult week.
Thanks, Georgie. I appreciate your time outside the SCG at halftime here in our Docklands match. It has been a tough week for Sydney fans as well, and what their decisions are in terms of going to the game at the moment. In terms of the score, the Swans have gone up ahead by 3 points. They kicked a couple of goals in a row to be up against the Bombers. Freo's leading Collingwood by 16 points. So the Pies look like they might have a tough season ahead in the AFLW. And last night, of course, one to make mention of is that it was the grand final rematch, and North Melbourne won by 11 points against Brisbane. So that means that the last loss North Melbourne had was 3 years ago in the grand final against the Lions. They are powering away. Ash Riddell had 40-plus disposals again as the league best and fairest. So they look to be a powerhouse again, Clinchy, North Melbourne, and we're only in round 2.
Yeah, so the Kangaroos and the Bulldogs are the sides that have made the most promising starts. As you said, those 2 games taking place at the moment in the AFLW later this afternoon, Melbourne and the Giants. Carlton taking on the Adelaide Crows, and Port Adelaide and Hawthorn bring a close to round 2 of the AFL. We will have some selective coverage on ABC Radio. Just look for ABC Listen and we'll try and promote the games in which we're covering. Halftime here at Docklands, Port Adelaide leading Essendon by 16 points. In the cricket, Aussies are looming, trying to pick up early wickets here, and the pressure is on Bangladesh to try and dig in and fight. A call available on ABC Listen. No AFL Sunday today, given the early start time, but we have still had plenty of you texting through your highlights, so thanks so much for them. We'll be back to normal programming next weekend with the likely wildcard finals Friday night and Saturday night. Did have someone texting as well around the VFL finals. It was wildcards across the weekend, so both games were on Saturday. So the ABC VFL coverage game will be at Windy Hill on Saturday as the Bombers take on Williamstown. But the VFL is one round ahead of where the AFL stands at the moment. Fran says thanks for the call. Shouting out her highlight was the Bulldogs and their victory yesterday. Cheerio to Bob and to Chad. Plenty of highways coming through. Bill in Adelaide, the Murphy Highway is in Georgia in the USA. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, Bob.
We're a proud family, proud of those it was named after. Trailed off a bit, didn't I? No, that's the first time I've ever heard that. I've got to be honest with you.
Joe says the highway from Adelaide to Murray Bridge should be the Wingard Freeway with a statue of the Mark of the Year. It could be there as well. So don't know if it's Joe Wingard, but a shout out to Joe.
Stay to the left. Thanks, on that
Mum.
freeway.
Thanks for sending in your text, Mum. Miss you.
No overtaking. Stay to the left.
There's a Roughhead Road in South Gippsland is coming through. Chandler Highway in Melbourne, shortest highway in the world. That's
Kyle Chandler, yep.
Tom Caldler played for the Swans and the Blues, late 40s, early 50s, I think. Could relate to the Calder Highway.
Jai Calder Freeway. I mean, it's a bit of a stretch.
Hayden Button Drive. That's from, that's from Western Australia coming through. And Paul from Torquay also in touch with a few of his suggestions. Brendan from Hobart says, would you rather go for the future in terms of Logan Morris, the here and the now, or Nate Caddy on what you're seeing at the moment? Is a good comparison question. I mean, Nate could love a little bit of support inside the forward 50 for the Bombers, but there is something there with him.
Oh,
He does get enough opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. I just... he does rely pretty heavily on just that raw athleticism, and he's only a young forward, but I am curious to see if he can add a few more strings to his bow in the coming seasons.
Tony in Sydney says, just wondering whether Bob has driven the Anastopolis freeway between Athens and somewhere in Greece.
That's a very, very, very shrewd observation.
Yep.
Very good.
0437 774 774 is the SMS line. If you want to join us throughout the afternoon as the Bombers and Port Adelaide are playing out for the final time this season. Still no word as to who will be the Essendon coach. We're expecting an announcement early next week. And for Josh Carr trying to finish his inaugural season as Port Adelaide coach on a high. They've had 6 wins and 16 losses. A win for the Bombers would move them off the bottom of the ladder. They have a better percentage than the Tigers, so I'm not sure they necessarily want to win this afternoon. The Power have been too strong. Regardless, throughout the game, taking control in that second quarter with 5 goals to 3 after they led by 4 points at quarter time. The players are in position. There was a question as to how many fans would come along. I think there's certainly more than were here on Thursday night. We had 14,000 for St Kilda and the Gold Coast.
Well, there's the Essendon president. Andrew Welsh is in the house.
Okay.
We might get an announcement today. You never know. You
Back
just
from
never know.
Port Adelaide by 16 points. Here's Lauren Borden with the second half.
Sweet brings it down to Richards, who puts the footy inside the forward 50 for Power. An early entry for them. Durden chasing after it. Gets beaten to the footy by his teammate in Van Wyk, but he can't get a clean disposal away. Picked up by Sharp. Hand passes to Roberts, who hand passes to Caldwell. And he'll try and flare it across the defensive 50. Was looking for Artemis, who couldn't quite take the mark. Fumbled it a couple of times, but eventually gets it to Langford, who puts the kick down the wing and Caddy mark.
That's what I'm talking about with Nate Caddy. That's working up high and nice lead, get a bit of space between him and his opponent. I find that he's always jumping in numbers, and sometimes it forces him to jump under the ball. When he just gets that forward craft and timing, and maybe some teammates who can understand what he's capable of and just put it to his advantage instead of kicking it as high as they possibly can. That's a very frustrated little finish to that sentence.
So he kicked down the wing towards Merritt, who couldn't take the mark. Had Bergman next to him. Ends up being a ball in at half forward for the Bombers, and it's Burgoyne that wins it. Hand passes it to Bergman. He kicks towards Whitlock. Gets an arm to it with Reid closing in on him. Bergman keeps it in play with a hand pass that might just work for Will Brodie, running onto it, pops the kick inside forward 50, just a chip one bounce, hits up Whitlock. He can see a target he wants to hit inside forward 50, goes in the direction of Ware, can't take the mark, spills to ground. Langford will take it for Essendon. Hand pass to Day Wicks, hand pass to Redmond, collects it, defensive 50 for Essendon, and he can hand pass it across to Unwin, running down the city side of Dockland Stadium, chips down to Caddy, who is high up at the field.
He looks up to half forward, trying to get the kick to Archie Perkins, who's out the back at left half forward. He marks in front of Lockie Jones. Looks up inside 50. Merritt's gone to full forward. There's a lot of other movement, given Ryder to re-lead it. Sent it in the direction of Caddy. He got up, couldn't take the mark. Spills off his hands, and it's locked up in the left forward pocket for the Bombers. Sharp laying the tackle on Burgoyne.
Love the way that Nate Caddy has started this third quarter, working up high and then back hard inside 50.
From the stoppage, Brodie trying to break away, tackle dispossessed, knocked out towards the boundary line by Unwin. And the umpire says a free kick going Port Adelaide's way for over the shoulder. Will be taken in the right back pocket.
Delivered out of bounds. Right call by the umpire.
Jacob Ware to take the free kick in the back pocket. Goes short. And the mark is taken by Joe Richards, getting some midfield time with all the injuries for Port Adelaide. No Zach Butters, no Connor Rosie, no Jason Horne-Francis this afternoon. They've got some players to come back in. Bergman gets the hand pass away to Burn Jones, who sends it out wide looking for Marshall. Not a great kick for him. He does become the tackler, though, on Harry Jones. Ball spills clear. Berry takes it for Port Adelaide. Ran a long way, tucked it under his arm. Sends it long looking for Georgiades. He's out the back against Langford. And it's beautifully crumbed by Zach Reid. Gathers for the Bombers. Chips it out to Langford. His fellow defender this afternoon marks in the right back pocket.
So Langford's been sitting down in defence there for the Bombers.
He's got the right surname for it.
Like
Chris Langford.
Oh, I know where you're going. Sorry, I was trying to do something defensively with it. Yep, I'm with you.
One
All
of
right.
the great fullbacks.
Kicks down the wing, and Perkins eventually gets the footy in the centre of Docklands and marks for Essendon. Darts left and right, and then pops it out to right. Peter Wright, who's on the lead. And he will mark ahead of
Chad.
Staying quiet.
I gave it a little bit of a tone. I hope that was enough for you, that I recognised the pun that was coming. And Peter Wright, that right, half forward, chips it to Sharp.
Sharp kid.
Sharp 60 metres out from goal, darts it back to Peter Wright.
It's not what we wanted.
He's marked it 4 metres further ahead than where he had the ball. And this time he might just take a kick here, and he will. So he's got Jones standing on the mark.
Right on 50?
Right on the paint of 50 is exactly where Jones is standing.
Are you proud of this, Chad?
I am.
Yep, okay.
One of my greatest achievements.
How come I've become the mature voice of this quartet?
Peter Wright puts this kick towards goal. It bobbles there. It was a bit of a shaky old kick, but who else would be there to collect it than Nate Caddy? So a wobbly old kick. Nate Caddy marks. This one will have to be a banana. It's even tighter angle as the umpire makes sure he's very close to the boundary. On his left boot, Nate Caddy. He finishes another, and that is 5 for Caddy. And we're only in the third quarter. He has a handful. And the Bombers cut back the lead of Port Adelaide to 10 points. 6-8-44, Port Adelaide 8-6-54. 5 minutes played in the third term on ABC Sport.
Well, you'd think if you were a parent and you were bringing a young child today and you had the Essendon jumper on and the red and black colours on, you'd be looking for some encouraging signs for next year. And we've seen the Jackson Pryor fist pump when one of his teammates got the paid free kick for a tackle, and then we've seen Andy McGrath, who's lit up in his 200th game. But I think it would be fair to say that Nate Caddy just lighting up the Docklands Stadium will do wonders for the morale of Essendon supporters as they approach what's going to be a dramatic off-season.
Whoever the new coach is, they'd be looking on. His career best is 4, so Nate Caddy has surpassed that this afternoon with 5. There's something to get excited about on a Sunday afternoon to close the season. The Bombers have gathered it across half-back. Redmond's hand pass to Harry Jones, to Roberts, kicks out towards half-back. And the mark was claimed by Vigo Vicentini, and he got a shove as well, so we'll get a 50-metre penalty. And it's taken from half-back up towards half-forward when the umpire stops. It's not the most generous 50. He's still not quite at half-forward yet for the Bombers. Free kick against O'Brien. There's Vigo Vicentini inside 50. Caddy's the man. He leads up and takes the mark. And Dante Vicentini crashes into him, the younger of the siblings. So you wonder at one stage whether Josh Carr might think, you know what, this matchup, it ain't working for me anymore.
Well, it played on.
He has veered out to the right, sends it long to the goal square. It's offline. And in the end, Peter Wright was there, but a juggling effort from Kondo Giannis unsuccessful, and it goes out of play in the right forward pocket for the Bombers. They trail by 10 points. 7 minutes gone, third quarter on ABC Sport.
She's got a lot of Charlie Curnow about him when he plays up high, like he is at the moment, Nate Caddy.
Vigo Vicentini palms it down. Sharked by Burgoyne, clears it out of defensive 50. And Whitlock will mark. Jack Whitlock, who made his debut late last year, has gone on to play 23 games for the Power this season. Kicks it towards Burgoyne. Bounces a couple of times, but Burgoyne can't catch it before it goes out of bounds. For a lasso free kick to Sharp. Dyson Sharp's been another one of those Essendon players that's had some good moments this year. He's kicked down the line. He's not one of those as Berry chops it off. And he darts it inboard where Richard Zulmark for the Power wants to keep switching it into the centre of the ground.
Well done, Caddy.
Caddy gets back there to punch away the kick, then wins the footy himself despite a tackler coming from Richards. Hand passed it away to Unwin. He couldn't hold on to it and sweeps there for Power. Hand pass across to Moraes, running right through the centre of Docklands Stadium. Delivers the footy inside, forward 50. Georgiades, 2 bites. It was touched.
Hasn't
the umpire won't pay that. That gets paid so many times a game. But they've recognise the Langford touch, and Georgiades won't be paid the mark. Will be stopped inside forward 50 for the Power. They're ahead by 10 points.
Quick kick out of the congestion. It's offline to the right-hand side from Jordan Sweet, trying to do it all himself. Unsuccessful on this occasion. Port Adelaide by 11 points. Just getting a look at some of the battles between Jordan Sweet and Virgo Vicentini. It's been an interesting challenge this afternoon. Sweet might have had a finger that popped out a little bit earlier in the process. As Pryor brings the Bombers back into play, kicks up towards Peter Wright, spoiled away by Dante Vicentini, and it does go out of play for a boundary throw-in. It's a left half forward for Port Adelaide.
So Tom Anastasopoulos runs on. I think that might be the cheers coming for him, potentially. He's, of course, from Victoria. Tim Morgan's on the boundary.
No, that was very much for Nate Caddy just coming from the ground. And he got a big pat on the back too from Dean Solomon. Really happy with his effort.
There you go. Not a bad effort at all from Nate Caddy for 5 goals. Something that the fans can come out and watch and enjoy, even though it's been a tough season for the Bombers, as Reid has it in the back line and kicks it across to Redmond, centre half back, clears it out wide. Day Wicks juggles it and then puts the kick in front of Unwin, running onto it all the way to left half forward, paddles it in front of him and does well to move it inside forward 50, goes all the way himself. He'll set it a footy, and that is a good play, and the ball will find its way to right. And a wonderful effort to get in there, to get it there from Unwin.
Well, you mentioned before the cheers of the Bombers crowd when Nate Caddy came off the ground. Dean Solomon gave him a hug. I don't think it was for the 5 goals. I think it was because of the defensive effort in the middle of the ground, and it's inspired his teammates.
Reece Unwin with some good effort gets it to Peter Wright, who does not miss this one and make sure the effort is rewarded. And importantly as well, with Peter Wright's second goal of the day, it's back to just a kick, or less than a kick, that Port Adelaide lead by 5 points. The Powers lead. 8-7-55 is Port. The Bombers 7-8-50.
All right, Bob, you want to have the conversation yet? What does it mean if Essendon win, and do they want to win?
Does this make me old-fashioned? I'm not sure. I think the core thing of any sporting team is to redline it and try and win. So as soon as you start putting ladder position, as soon as you start to overthink those things, I think you start to mess with a really important core element of what you're all here to do. So I'm always, if you're out there, win. Don't worry about secondary things and picks and ladder positions. It starts to mess with something very, very precious.
And I think Dean Solomon would love a win as well in his final game as caretaker coach. So we shall watch and wait. Nick Bryan at half-back, wins the footy for the Bombers. Hand pass to Merritt. They're starting to get on top. Hand pass to Sharp. To Pryor, ran into a dead end. Ollie Wines lays the tackle. Spills out to Sharp. Wines follows up. He got a hand pass to Pryor. Chase and run down. Great chase. And the free kick will go the way as Brodie laid that tackle. They take the advantage through Burgoyne. Sends it up to half-forward. Georgiades tackled by Langford. Had an arm pin, holding the ball. The Power only have it back momentarily. It's a good chase from Kyle Langford, and now 50.
I don't think Georgiades was happy with the call and told the umpire that as well.
So it means he's taken from half-back to half-forward. 4 goals, 9 so far this season for Kyle Langford, who's had another frustrating year. He's featured in 19 games, but so much injuries over the last couple of seasons. He just pokes it into the pocket. Peter Wright the target, wrestling with Lockie Jones. Jones makes the spoil off the hands of Setterfield. Berry's tackled in the right forward pocket for the Bombers, and the umpire will throw it aloft. Cole from Rossdale asked the question, hi gang, have any of you seen the candidates for the Essendon coaching position at the game? Bob's on high alert.
I am on high alert.
Tossed it inside forward 54, Essendon. Setterfield takes this, taken to the turf. Ball spits out, Ware collects and curls the footy along the boundary line. Langford at front position gets a shove from Georgiades. And that's another free kick against Georgiades to Langford. A clear one that everyone in the ground saw. Langford retreats to Reid, whose kick is a shocker as he gets it into the centre of the ground. Roberts can still pick it up ahead of Sweet, Port's ruckman, and then clears it back to Reid, centre half back, and chips across to Langford, right half back. There's Jackson Pryor, who comes with a little lead. Centre wing, in front of the Essendon bench, moves the footy on quickly, hits up Day Wicks, right half forward. Hand pass across to Merritt, who puts the kick towards Bryan, just goes over the top of his head, and then Wright couldn't stoop down and pick it up. comes Van Wyck for the power. He tries to do something with it. And then there'll be a tackle laid on in the forward line. And Vizentini, ball comes down. Umpire allows the ball to spill out for a little while until finally Berry will hand it back for a toss-up. Right forward pocket for Essendon. Kicked the most recent 3 goals of the game, 5 points the margin.
Brian got it down. Day Wicker around his body. He misses across the face of goal to the left-hand side. Archie Day Wicks has had one of those sort of afternoons. He's had plenty of shots on goal, but hasn't been able to finish. And 2 behind so far next to his name, and 1 that failed to score. The margin 4 points Port Adelaide's way. As Lockie Jones looks at the avenues to bring the ball back into play. Decides to head out left in the direction of the tall timber in Harrison Ram. He rises and takes the mark against Kako. Inboard to Will Brodie. Sport away from him. McGrath got there late. Kako trying to reel in the footy. Lost it. Taken back by Berry. Port Adelaide at half-back. Up the wing. Sends it up to Van Wyck, who marks for the power. Draws an opponent. Half pass to Brodie. Gets it over the top to Jace Burgoyne. At left half forward. He just pokes the kick up the wing. And Whitlock has it. He's at left half forward, but still 55 out from home. Georgiades was on the move to the pocket and almost lost his footing. So Whitlock has to go back and send it into a central position. In the end, all the numbers are the Bombers' way, and Setterfield rises and takes a good mark over the top of Zato, intercepting mark 15 metres out from his defensive goal.
Former Giant and Blue now at the Bombers. Chips out to Jackson Pryor. He marks in the left back pocket. Coming across to Essendon last year from Brisbane, Jackson Pryor kicks down the wing, was looking for Perkins. It's won, though, by Ram of the power. Hand passes it away. Winds with it. One arm ping. Ball spills out. Clark wins it for Essendon. Hand passes back to Caldwell. He'll switch it across to Kondogiannis, broadcast side of the ground. He's able to release it to Jones, who kicks down the line. He was looking for Redmond. No mark could be taken. Power will win it back here through Burn Jones, who hand passes it away to Van Wyck. Inside forward 50. He'll send the footy. And this is a mark to Zato. And he'll slow things down and have a shot at goal.
Geez, that was a poor decision. Was that Harry Jones that had that kick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nate Cady, who is on fire, working for you, easy kick, outlet kick, and he chooses to kick a 50-50 into the corridor. Yeah, it's a goal against, or it's a shot against.
Almost like he didn't see him, but I'm not sure how he wouldn't have been able to see him. He was right in his field of vision.
Zato has it behind today. He hasn't got a goal. He curls this through beautifully. And he goes and runs up to the fans, the Essendon fans on the fence, and lets them know he's dobbed it. And that's a goal for the Power. And that margin just gets put out to 10 points into the double digits again. Port 9-7-61, Essendon 7-9-51. 16 minutes played in the third term. Round 24 at Docklands. Sunday afternoon footy on ABC Sport.
That hurts. And you think about the momentum in the game. Essendon have really been on fire, and Nate Cady has been a huge reason for that. You give the man who's got the hot hand the ball, no matter where they are in the game. And obviously we just saw Georgiades getting frustrated because he didn't get the ball kicked to him the previous inside 50. And obviously he's showing a little bit of frustration this quarter. But Nate Cady, it's just an obvious outlet kick. And that just destroys. That goal against means far more than that 6 points, because they had all the momentum. Now you get a bit frustrated as your best player. Jeez, that's hard.
Chad Wingard with you on ABC Sport. Caldwell out of the middle of the ground for the Bombers. Hand pass to Sharp. Tackle, dispossessed. Chase Burgoyne tries to knock it out. Throw, says the umpire. Free kick going the way of the Bombers in the middle of Docklands. To be taken by Dyson Sharp. Got a Rising Star nominee throughout the season. As he plays on to the right. Still not sure where to go. In the end, drives it long in the Peter Wright direction. Ram had to try and deal with an awkward bouncing ball. Got it to Burn Jones. Hand pass away to Weir. Sends it up to Ware. Kicks it up towards half forward. Zato had it spoiled away from him. Perkins gathers. Tries to break the Ware tackle. Got it back to Kondogiannis, who feeds it back to Mason Redmond. Centre wing with a bit more space. Reloads inside 50. Peter Wright the target. He's got the field to compete against and spoiled out of play. It was well done by Ram, who positioned himself right in front of Peter Wright. And offhands it goes out of play. A throw in the right forward pocket for the Bombers. Port Adelaide by 10 points. 9-7-61 to the Bombers. 7-9-51. 18 minutes gone. Third term on ABC Sport.
With 2 wins of the season, the most recent coming in round 18 here at Docklands against the Giants. As the ball is tossed inside the Bombers forward 50. Bergman comes in after it. He's brought to ground and now will have a ball up 35 metres out from goal for Essendon. Sweet and Van Wyck Brian and Van Wyk in the ruck. Ball gets tossed up. Spills out the back. Zatto's there. He can pick it up. Hand passes it away. It's straight into the path of Kako, who twirls around, kicks towards goal. And that is a fantastic finish. He had to move around in a full 360. Was working in a phone box, and somehow Kako is able to kick from 40 metres out and score for Essendon. Port Adelaide's lead is just at 4 points. The Bombers will not go away. 8-9-57 Essendon. Port Adelaide 9-7-61. 18 minutes played in the third term. Before the thoughts of our ABC sport experts Bob Murphy and Chad Wingard, down to Tim Morgan on the boundary.
Yeah, Mason Redmond's just come to the bench for the Bombers, went straight to the physio, gesturing an issue with his hamstring, so he's just getting some work on it now.
Geez, that was special. He actually jumps and pump faked the handball mid-air, turned on a dime and just let it rip on his right foot. Like, that was special. I mean, you can see I'm smiling. My smile's from ear to ear because I love when small forwards or just players just show their talent. And, geez, that talent was on display then.
Becomes the third individual goal kicker for the Bombers. 5 through Nate Caddy, a career high for him, and 2 through Peter Wright. Isaac Kako joins that crew. Back in the middle of the ground. Sweet one down the tap looking for Brodie of Port Adelaide. Lost possession. Taken back for the Bombers. Setterfield's hand pass to Brian. Tackled, lost it. Tackling over the top was Richards. Can't gather. Brian got it from Setterfield. He turns it over. Richards takes it back for Port Adelaide. Hand pass to Will Brodie. His hand pass missed the intended target. Zatto works his way to the front. Tackled by Pryor. They turn to the umpire, who initially was about to wind up for holding the ball and now has paid a ball up on the wing. Port Adelaide by 4 points.
Tossed up. Brian can just get a hand to it. Pushes it out. Zatto has it. He's brought to the ground. It's Ware rather who's held onto the turf. And Setterfield holds on to him. Another ball up in the same position. We can check in with Tim Morgan on the boundary.
Yeah, Mason Redmond did a few stretches on the mat. He's gone straight down to the rooms with that hamstring issue.
Thanks, Tim. We'll keep an eye on that one as Setterfield takes it out from the throw-up and kicks it down the line. Again, Caddy chasing after it as fast as he can, but he just couldn't get there in time. Means it'll be a free kick to Jones of the Power. Holding onto it at left half-back. Jones will load up on the kick, long down the wing, and Reid outmuscles his opponent in Whitlock off the footy.
Good grab by Reid. Yeah, really good body work there by Reid.
It's a bit of spirit in the Bombers at the moment,
Yeah,
only down by
is.
4 points. Chips it to Roberts. Another short kick will find Caldwell at centre half back for Essendon. And then Caldwell will go for a little jog before turning the footy over immediately as Josh Lai can take it for the Power.
Dodging and weaving from half back. He kicks up towards Georgiades. It's a 1-on-4 across half forward for Port Adelaide. The Bombers get a hand pass back to Pryor, all the way back to Zach Reid. He's 25 metres out from his defensive goal. A better kick up the wing for Setterfield. He can take the mark and play on. He looks up to half forward. The kick down low and a good mark taken from Archie Perkins at right half forward. Caddy's in the pocket. The Bombers fans are screaming for him to go there. Instead, he centres it to Peter Wright. It clears him. And in the back, Angus Clark hugs it to his chest. They are getting very Caddy and Wright focused. And Angus Clark just realised if he stood at the back, he might be half lucky, and he was on this occasion. Directly in front, 25 metres out.
Tell you what, Reid's had some unbelievable kicks today. He's obviously had some hit and miss ones as well, but 2 kicks that have just really opened up the field and just gives Caddy and Wright, and obviously there's Essendon forwards, the best chance to get a shot and mark inside 50.
Would you believe it? To give the Bombers the lead, Clark comes in and sends it through. And they're finding something in this third quarter, the Bombers. And it may not be completely to their benefit. They're on the bottom of the ladder with victory. Their third of the season. They would move above the Tigers, and the Bombers hit the lead at the 22-minute mark of the third term. 9-9-63 to Port Adelaide 9-7-61. Essendon with 4 of the last 5 goals of the match. Bob Murphy and Chad Wingard with you on ABC Sport.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? The conundrum that you've pointed out there, Clinchy, of whether Essendon, it's in their best interest to win, but those who are in attendance today, they're in full voice because they are absolutely loving what their Essendon Footy Club has done in this third quarter, where they have really found something. They're playing with real spirit. They're playing with intent. They look like they've recaptured something like the Essendon of old, and they've just poked their nose in front.
Nico Vicentini rising high in the ruck. It's won by Brodie, though. Hand pass to Richards, who goes on a run. His jumper is taken by Vicentini, but he can still get the footy away. Back to Brodie. A little kick forward. He gets it away. And it's marked by Marshall. Again, Brody had pressure coming on the kick. Marshall skies the footy to the top of the 50. An odd decision as Clark punches it away. The umpire will be bringing it back for a free kick to Port Adelaide. So that one coming to Burn Jones in that contest as Marshall skied the kick high for a shallow entry inside forward 50. Burn Jones has it directly in front of goal, but would have to kick from about 53 metres out. Might have just been
not sure.
Caught high by Clark, potentially.
Bizarre.
Darting around, Burn Jones will kick all the way to the goal. And he's offline. He just sneaks it through for a behind. Just. It means Essendon's lead is cut back to 1 point. But the Bombers are in front for the first time since the 17-minute mark of the first quarter, rather.
Yeah, just the second lead change of the match. Lauren Borden and Matt Clinch calling the action. Bob Murphy and Chad Wingard, your experts, with Tim Morgan down on the boundary. The SCG is our next stop for Sydney and North Melbourne in the final match of the home and away season. The West Coast Eagles taking on Hawthorn. Artemis at half back, kicks it up the wing. Looking for Peter Wright. It clears in the end. Vigo Vicentini. And the Power are able to work it back. Back to Lai. It kicks into the middle of the ground. A risky kick, but hit the intended target in Moraes. He looks to chip it over the top. Richards running into space. Has it between the centre circles and half forward. He just chips it over the top looking for Marshall. It clears him in centre field. Still a chance for Port Adelaide. Desperate defending in the end by the Bombers. The hand pass chopped off by Marshall. Chips it down low inside 50. Georgiades can't cleanly gather. It's gathered by Pryor, though, for the Bombers. Gets the hand pass away to Artemis. Through the middle of the ground. Hand pass to Roberts. Dodging and weaving a couple of would-be tacklers. Hand pass to McGrath. In game 200, the captain long towards Nate Caddy, who went up before acceptances. Into the back to Lockie Jones. An easy one for the umpire there. But when you kick 5 and you're feeling it, I guess why not? It was a 2-on-1 Essendon's way, so probably just had to halve the contest, really.
A good murmur from the background too as that was happening. Tim Morgan on the boundary.
Yeah, Mason Redden back up from the room, doing a mountain of work now with the physio on his lower back, his hamstring and his glute, but it looks like they're working to try and get him back out there.
Thanks, Tim. As Burgoyne has it, pops the kick inside forward 50. Georgiades running onto it, takes it, hand passes it away. The Murray's direction in the end. He has to do the tackling. And there'll be a ball up 40 metres out, 45 metres out from goal for the Power, kicking towards the Lockett end in the third term. 4-1 going the way of the Bombers in this third quarter. And they now have a 1-point lead against the visiting side in Port Adelaide. As Brody has the footy, spears the pass into Georgiades on the lead. And this kick will put him a little closer than that kick that he had after the siren at half-time. And we'll go back and take this one and have his set shot.
Bit of reward for effort for him. He's been leading probably the last 4 times the ball's gone to him. He hit about 5 to 10 metres in front of him every single kick. So finally got one on his chest. See if he can get the rewards for his efforts.
3 goals already for Mitch. Georgiades kicks it straight into Langford, the man on the mark. And Langford goes back and wins the footy as well for the Bombers. Hand passes it to Farrow. The cheers of the Bombers fans as Farrow kicks it down to Caddy. And has he marked just inside the boundary line? No, it's a last touch rule, which means it'll be going back to Jones.
Did he take too long then? Is that why they call play on?
Yeah, quite possibly.
Yep.
Lockie Jones sends Port Adelaide inside 50. It gets to the very back of the pack where it's taken by Artemis, who chips it into the middle of the ground. Merritt takes the mark, swings it out to right half back, and a chance to try and build here. Kondo Giannis has it across half right half back. The Bombers lead by a point. Works a short kick up to Archie Roberts. Comes inboard to McGrath. Didn't complete the mark. I said he did.
Lucky.
Very generous there against Whitlock, who got there late. The Bombers swinging across half back. Harry Jones takes the mark. Merritt's run into space. His kick missed him, but he runs onto it. He can chip it over the top of Berry and has Farrow at half forward. Berry, the piggy in the middle, races to half forward. The kick now inside 50, looking for Caddy. Is out of bounds on the full. All of a sudden, both sides have lost a bit of their composure. It has become a real scrap. Sort of feeling like 15th versus 18th, and the Bombers lead by a point.
And Lockie Jones takes another kick from outside the boundary. Spears this one ahead of him. And the mark will be taken by Bergman, who can put it right down the wing. This kick a turnover. Zach Reed sitting back as that defensive line and holds on to it for Essendon. So he's had a good run of things, Zach Reed, after so many injuries. He's played every game this season. Kicks all the way down to left half forward. Kako can gather. Hand pass to Merritt. His hand passes into some space where Marshall will leap onto it for the power. Gets it to Whitlock, who hand passes it away to Berry, who's streaming down the outer wing of the ground. Wants to put it inside forward 50, just through the fingertips of Georgiades. Burgoyne will soccer it. It goes across the face. It's still going to be in play and will sit there. And it's the Bombers that'll win it first. Via Artemis, takes it, hand passes it to Roberts. He gets the Bombers out of the danger zone and chips it to Daywicks, who marks right half back for Essendon. They're up by 1 point, late stages of the third term.
Closing in on three-quarter time. His kick for Artemis did him absolutely no favours, and the intercepting mark taken by Bergman sends Port Adelaide a half forward. In the end, Marshall couldn't get a jump at it, and it's taken by Harry Jones. Cross half back for the Bombers. Swings it back defensively inside forward 50. Zach Reid has it. He can work it up the wing to left half back. Farrow now. His kick up to Zach Merritt. And that'll bring us to three-quarter time. The Bombers chasing their third win of the season. They lead by a point at three-quarter time. 9-9-63 to Port Adelaide 9-8-62. Off the back, the Bombers have a 4-1 third quarter after Port Adelaide led at quarter time by 4 points and by 16 points at half time. Nate Caddy has a career best 5 goals, including a second quarter who is able to put through 3. 2 goals to Peter Wright, and Isaac Kako has the other goal alongside Angus Clark. While for Port Adelaide, 3 goals to Mitch Georgiades, individuals to Burgoyne, Wines, Sweet, Anastasopoulos and Bammett. Three-quarter time at Docklands. The Bombers lead by a point. You can join us on the SMS 0437 774 774. Bring some of your thoughts in just a moment. This is Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
Every community has stories worth sharing. ABC Your Say is your chance to join the conversation. If there's an issue affecting you, we want to hear about it. ABC Your Say will be out and about in towns, regions and cities across Australia, listening to what matters most to you.
I think it's the cost of living, energy bills,
job security.
The housing crisis has been a really big issue.
Tell us what's on your mind. Visit abc.net.au/yoursay.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
When running onto it all the way to left half forward, paddles it in front of him and does well to move it inside forward 50, goes all the way himself. He'll set it a footy, and that is a good play. The ball will find its way to Wright. Reece Unwin with some good effort gets it to Peter Wright, who does not miss this one and make sure the effort is rewarded. Satter's there to pick it up, hand pass it away. It's straight to the path of Kako, who twirls around, kicks towards goal. And that is a fantastic finish. He had to move around in a full 360. He was working in a phone box, and somehow Kako is able to kick from 40 metres out and score for Essendon. Port Adelaide's lead is just at 4 points. The Bombers will not go away.
Perkins at right half forward. Caddy's in the pocket. The Bombers fans are screaming for him to go there. Instead, he centres it to Peter Wright. It clears him. And in the back, Angus Clark hugs it to his chest. Would you believe it? To give the Bombers the lead. Clark comes in and sends it through. And they're finding something in this third quarter, the Bombers. And it may not be completely to their benefit.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio,
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
and ABC Listen.
Three-quarter time at Docklands. Essendon leading by a point. 9-9-63. Port Adelaide 9-8-62. As Dean Solomon marches out for the last time as interim coach, and he's about to address his team. Do the Bombers want to win? With victory this afternoon, they would jump above Richmond with a better percentage. And for Josh Carr, he walks out to address his team with a little bit of work still to be done. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden calling the action. Tim Morgan is down on the boundary. Bob Murphy and Chad Wingard are your experts. Our next stop for round 24, the final round of the home and away season, is the SCG. And that's where we find Brett Sprigg.
Flinchy, if a week is a long time in football, then for the Sydney Swans, this past 6.5 days must feel like forever. And so at least today is the culmination of that, and they can play some football. It's not just one game, but two, with the AFL women's team getting a rare opportunity to take centre stage at the Sydney Cricket Ground. The Swans women lead by 24 points over Essendon early or midway through this final term, with a couple of goals each for Taylor Smith for the Swans and Sophie Alexander for the Bombers, and Maddie Pressbarkis has 30 as does Laura Gardner for the Swans, and I dare say they'll have achieved that record crowd they were hoping for of above 8,000, a record AFLW crowd for the Swans. We're still getting an idea of as we get closer to the opening bounce of the men's game, but to call this a unique build-up in the middle of what is really this club's worst ever crisis might be understating things. So in some ways, the footy itself is secondary, but naturally we'll have our focus on that, the Swans' last assignment of the home and away season, which of course they'll tackle the Kangaroos without 4 of their best players and a total of 5, for the reasons you'd all be aware of by now. In comes Rowbottom, Sheldrick, Hanley, Cunningham and Caden Cleary. How demoralised will the remaining teammates be? Well, they've got a point to prove against North Melbourne today. The Kangaroos lose Sheasel and Blamires. In comes Luke McDonald and Josh Goda. North are currently 14th. They can realistically finish in 13th, and 10 wins would match their best campaign for 7 years. Ordinarily, it would be the best possible path to a grand final, but it's muddy and treacherous ahead of the penultimate game of this 2026 home and away season, which will bring it to you here under mostly sunny skies at the SCG, alongside Ryan O'Keefe, Joel Patfull, Daniel Garb and Phil Pryor. So stay close, Clinchy. The latest chapter of this saga will be written on the football field as the remaining Swans look to make a statement.
Thank you very much to Brett Sprigg. We'll be with you just around 3:15 local time for that game between Sydney and North Melbourne. And will the fans leave at the end of the AFLW game? We'll have it all covered for you on ABC Sport. We've got this final quarter covered. Bob, Chad, what happens from here?
Well, on the back of what we saw in the third quarter there, it looked like a completely different game, and there's always a number of reasons for that. But the main one was that Essendon found some spirit. They played with some real fight, and I think they inspired one another. Nate Caddy, who's had a big afternoon, he's doing it at both ends. He's looking dangerous when he flies for the footy. We're used to that, but he was getting involved defensively. Isaac Kako, he came to light with a beautiful step and shimmy in midair, as Chad pointed out. And you just wonder if, as we approach what is going to be a dramatic off-season, that the Bombers are just ready for one more page of drama in what has been a dramatic season in the history book. So Port Adelaide have been challenged, and we'll see if they can respond. But Chad, the Bombers in that third quarter, they look like a footy club with a bit of heart.
Yeah, they do. I mean, they're winning the tackle count, obviously, 51-32. So I feel like the endeavour from Essendon has been far superior.
Final quarter underway. Bombers lead by a point. No clearance in the middle of the ground. Ollie Wines is tackled. So who wins, Chad?
If pure endeavour gets you over the line, I'm going with Essendon at this point in time.
All right, we shall see. Still a chance to try and break away here for the first clearance of the final term. Very bottom of the pack is Will Setterfield. He's locked up by Richards and Ollie Wines, and we'll do it all once more. Thrown in the air. Van Wyk one down the tap against Bryan. Out to Redmond. Tackle dispossessed by Burgoyne. Gathering it, though, is Zach Merritt. Sends Essendon up inside 50. Underneath it, Dante Vicentini dropped the mark. It spills Kako's way. Lockie Jones, great tackle. Ball spills out. Zach Merritt gets a hand pass away to Perkins. 45 out. Sends it along to the goal square. Right's there. Caddy as well. Spoiled away. Front and centre. Angus Clark dribbles through his second. It's celebrating in the right forward pocket. Gave it the big whirly-bird with the right arm. And Essendon put through the first goal of the final term, much to their fans' delight. They don't care about draft picks. They want to sing the song one more time. Essendon by 7 points, 10-9-69 to Port Adelaide, 9-8-62. And as you see the Essendon fans behind the goals, Bob Murphy, maybe we're getting part of our answer right now.
I think so. I think they're answering in there. Noise and exuberance and enthusiasm for this rejuvenated Essendon footy team this afternoon. So passion is one thing, but also just playing smart football, just getting to the drop of the ball there. And Port Adelaide's lack of defensive intensity, again, being called into question. So Angus Clark, he just reads the drop of the ball, puts himself in the dangerous spot. Not sure if the Port Adelaide defenders had quite the appetite for it.
Brian takes it from the middle and dumps the kick inside forward 50 for Essendon. All is locked up, and the umpire will blow their whistle and come in and toss it up. About 40 metres outside from Essendon's attacking goal. Perkins, the last one in the pack there. Van Wyk goes to tap it out, then takes it away himself. Hand passes it to Wines. Spirals a kick out, and Durden can take it. Runs his way through a couple of Essendon players. Fires off a hand pass back to Wines. Then hand passed it to Durden. He's taken and ripped down in a tackle by Angus Clark to result in a ball up in the centre of Docklands Stadium. Essendon ahead by 7.
Someone's going to need to stand up for Port Adelaide if they're going to offer some sort of response here. Ryan one down the tap. Ollie Wines trying to bust his way clear. Tackled by Kako and also Setterfield, and the umpire is going to ball it up. The Bombers by 7 points, their biggest lead of the match so far. 2 lead changes so far throughout the game. Offhands no chance to break away as Burgoyne lays the tackle on Sharp. Still short of just centre half forward for the Bombers as they lead by 7. Brian wins down the tap against Van Wyk. Ball spills out the way of Bergman. Tried to sidestep the tackle. Setterfield got him holding the ball. And Essendon taking it right half forward. Will Setterfield's a hard man to get past. As he looks out into the pocket, Perkins is on the lead and he hugs it to his chest. Bit of a look back there from Josh Lai, wondering where the defensive breakdown was. Perkins has it 5 metres in from the boundary in the right forward pocket.
Geez, he bursted for that lead. I mean, he got a 5-10 metre split on Lai pretty quickly. Like, that's a perfect kick, didn't have to break stride. Essendon, we talk about their intent. Their intent to tackle has been amazing this game, and Port Adelaide just look a little bit shy at the moment.
6 goals, 10 for the season for Archie Perkins. 1 behind so far this afternoon. Off the boot, it won't have the journey. Caddy flies in the back. A chance for Farrow, who almost toe-poked it on the goal line. That just comes off a Port Adelaide hand and through for a minor score. The Bombers lead by 8 points. 4 minutes gone. Final term on ABC Sport.
Last match for these two sides this year. Burn Jones brings it back in, goes with a short kick to Richards. Marks in defensive 50. It's been Essendon with the past 3 goals of the game consecutively. Now out to an 8-point lead. After Port Adelaide did get out to as much as 22 points in the second term. And Jones now with the footy. Kicks it to the top of the 50. Lai couldn't take the mark. It allows it in here for the Bombers. And Burn Jones has the footy. He's brought to the turf by Andy McGrath. Locks him up. Ball up. Centre half forward for Essendon.
Good defensive structure and impact from Archie Perkins there. Bit of balance in his game today.
Brian dumps it forward. Clark with a hand pass to Daywick. Centering ball looking for Farrow. Off hands, it's taken by Caddy. He veers out to the right. Big turn. And puts through his 6th. Oh, those Bombers, they're up right now. As Nate Caddy is having a day to remember. His previous best was 4. He now has 6 as he beautifully read that off the hands of Day Wicks and curled through another. The first 2 goals of the final term go the way of the Bombers, and they lead by 14 points. 11-10-76 to Port Adelaide, 9-8-62. And there might be some in the recruiting office who are thinking, what are we doing? Chad Wingard and Bob Murphy with you on ABC Sport.
Well, I mean, it's all starting in the clearance battle. You think about Essendon, they're just getting it forward of their half every single time that has come this quarter. So Zach Merritt has been super important. Kako's been really nice in there. But Port Adelaide, they need Ollie Wines. They need Jace Burgoyne, who's got the most clearances in the game, to really step up for this last quarter, to just get it in their front half.
Listen to the Bombers fans. The ball goes up back in the middle. Tap down, Sharp with the clearance inside forward 50. He'll send it. It bounces down, and there'll be a free kick on play. It's going to Port Adelaide. It'll be O'Brien to take it for the power. Tim Morgan on the boundary.
Yeah, just as the Bombers fans were finding their voice and finding their feet, Miles Bergman limped off for the power. Looks like a right ankle issue.
Thanks, Tim. The kick comes out to Burn Jones. He chips it forward to Richards. They're having some trouble getting it out of their defensive half, Port Adelaide, in this final term.
If you were just walking into the game and thought, well, one of these teams, it's in their best interest to lose for draft picks, you'd think it was Port Adelaide.
Yeah.
They look like they've lost absolute interest in the last game of this season, and Essendon look like it's grand final day.
Dante Vicentini puts it down the line, very close to the boundary. It will be a lasso free kick, or an out of bounds on the full, really, for Dyson Sharp to take for Essendon. Nope, it was touched. It'll be a throw in. Right in front of Bergman, who's getting his foot and ankle looked at, like Tim just said. Ball to be swung in. Vigo Vicentini and Sweet let it drop in front of them. I think they wanted it to be tossed in again. Or a free kick. In comes Setterfield. Pops it inside forward 50 to the hot spot. Right comes in. Caddy's there crashing the pack. Ball comes down, spills to the forward pocket. Burn-Jones will collect it. Hand pass it away to Anastasopoulos. Hand pass back to Burn-Jones. His kick, a direct turnover. Vigo Vicentini marks for the Bombers. They're up by 14 points.
Chips it up to half forward when the mark is taken by Caldwell. He shoots a kick to half forward. That's a terrible kick.
Where's a bucket of sand when you need it? Replace your divots.
Whitlock to half forward. The Power trying to run through the middle of the ground. Jace Burgoyne with that characteristic one-handed bounce inside 50. Georgiades just shoved out Langford. Umpire said illegally. Mitch Georgiades is having one of those afternoons as the standing captain. He's damned if he does, damned if he do, damned if he don't. So I'm trying to spit out as he's given away a few free kicks. Konto-Giannis gets the ball at half-back for the Bombers. Looks to kick it in more. Looking for Setterfield. On the bounce he gathers. Ran into Bammett though. Just got a hand pass away. Unwin looks into the middle of the ground. Perkins, Roberts is pushed down from the back line. His kick never got over the hands of Moraes, who brings it down. And now the tackle is laid. And it's locked up 45 metres out from the Bombers' goal as Pryor lays the tackle on Jacob Ware. Let's just wipe that last 3 minutes from the histories.
If you don't laugh, you'll cry sometimes. Tossed up forward 50 for the Bombers. It spills out where Roberts will take it. Hand pass to Kako. Skies the footy up high. It almost hits the roof as the drop comes down. It's punched away by Jones. Spills down. Unwin goes after it. Can't get a clean takeaway. Kako can. He hand passes it into the direction of Sharp. In the end, Konto-Giannis picks it up. Gets it across to Redmond. Kicks it into the left forward pocket. Caddy will mark. No. Out of bounds on the full. He was well over there, Caddy, as well, but it'll be a Port Adelaide free. And Ram will have it next to the right behind post. 14 points, Essendon's lead. We played 9 minutes in this final term. We're going back to the arc now to check.
And Jones is down. Yep.
Yeah, Lockie Jones is down. He's in the hands of the trainers.
He's been down for a little while as well, Lockie Jones. So
might be the...
Don't know how you put this.
Around the sensitive area, around the equator.
Hit near the seatbelt, yeah.
So Chad Wingard alongside Bob Murphy. Lauren Bourne and Matt Clinch calling the action. Tim Morgan down on the boundary. Essendon leading by 14 points. They've kicked 2 unanswered goals in this last quarter. Eventually the all-clear is given. And Ram can send the Power up the wing. Good mark taken by Whitlock. He rises and has it at right half-back. Where's the run, though? Hand pass sideways to Burn-Jones in the middle of the ground. Not without risk, but the mark is taken by Moraes. It's a hand pass back to Burn-Jones, back to Moraes. Torches and weaves. Takes a bounce. Good acceleration of pace. Looks up. Georgiades leads. Kicks over his head. It's spoiled away by Sharp, but straight in the path of Jace Burgoyne, who curls through a goal. A touch of class for his second. Having been involved with the chain at half-back, he is certainly setting a tempo. 27 disposals and now 2 goals alongside his 7 clearances. And the Bombers' lead is cut back to 8 points. Tim Morgan on the boundary.
Bad news for the Bombers. Peter Wright just limped off the field, could barely put any weight onto his right leg. He's gone straight down into the room. At the same time, the Powers, Miles Bergman, just getting a heap of tape on that right ankle in the hope of getting back out there.
Geez, Jace has been impressive. I mean, like you just mentioned the stats before, but what you missed is that he had 7 clearances, he leads the game, and he also had 7 tackles, which leads the game. So it's good to see him back in the centre square because they need to get it forward of centre, especially now after just kicking a goal. But geez, that was a special finish.
Still anyone's game. 18th place Essendon playing the 15th place Port Adelaide. 8 points is the home side's advantage as it plays restarted back in the middle. And Sweet can take it. A huge kick inside forward 50. Will clear Marshall. Little forward to Georgiades. Left forward pocket. Hand passes it back to Whitlock. He hand passes it defensively to Anastasopoulos. Inside 50. He'll send the footy again. Punch comes from Pryor. It'll drop for Berry now, who can take it for the Power. Hand pass away to Zato. Shrugs the tackle. Snaps on goal. 2 in a minute for the Power. And mismatch remains in the balance between these 2 bottom place sides. The Bombers' lead is now just 2. 11-8-74. Essendon 11-10-76. And Mitch Zaddo has his second for the afternoon.
Geez, just when you thought that Port Adelaide were at the airport and ready to go home and lick their wounds, they have come to life, and now it's the Bombers who have been challenged. That was a glorious finish from a tight angle from Zaddo. Broke the tackle, and that was pretty impressive in itself. And from a tight angle, that has brought the margin back to 2 points, and we've got a game on our hands.
Who would have thought? The last Sunday of the home and away season. The Bombers have had just the 2 wins so far this season. Their last in round 19 against the Giants. Bryant, one down the tap, got it to Zach Merritt, kicks up towards half forward. Great mark, Unwin in front, hugs it to his chest. Darcy Byrne-Jones shakes his head in frustration. Unwin thought about the half pass to Redmond, who was pleading for it as he ran behind. Instead sends it long in the caddy direction. Was he shoved there? No whistle.
Oh, wow.
Ram got away with one there, and then Archie Perkins' hand pass looking for Kondianis goes out of play. The throw in the right forward pocket. Nate Caddy with a career best 6 goals so far this afternoon. Mitch Georgiades has 3. And the Bombers clinging to a 2-point lead with victory this afternoon. They would move off the bottom of the ladder and above Richmond.
13 minutes played in the final term. Still plenty left for either side. As Unwin takes it, hand passes it away. O'Brien will clean it up, though, for the power by hand passing it to Byrne-Jones. Dumps the kick to the wing. Will be picked up by Artemis, who spears the pass down to Sharp on the lead marks. Right half forward for Essendon. Couple of kicks from home. We'll run in and get plenty of distance on this kick. Just leave it at the top of the goal square. O'Brien couldn't take the mark. It spills down to Clark. He can do it again. Angus Clark with his 3rd goal. Another snap from him. And he gives the Bombers a little more breathing space in this last term. 8 points is now Essendon's lead. And Angus Clark has 3 to go with Nate Caddy's 6 in the forward line for Essendon. 14 minutes played in this final term before the thoughts of our ABC Sport experts. Down to Tim Morgan on the boundary.
Yes, day done for Peter Wright. He's just come back from the room. Still can't put any weight through that right leg, and the physio's just mentioned to say it's all over.
Just an opportunity goal. I mean, both last 2 goals, obviously Zaddo as well as that goal just there from Clark. It's just playing your role, knowing where you need to be at ground level. Zaddo's obviously holding his width from entry as well. So both teams getting reward for just playing their position, playing their role. And geez, this game's getting some tension. You can hear it in the crowd.
It was just, I mean, it was good restraint from Angus Clark. It was his opponent, O'Brien, that flew and didn't impact. And Clark stayed down and kicks an easy goal.
Sweet won the tap, got it down to Will Brodie. His birthday today, turns 28 as he gets it up to half forward. The kick inside 50, chopped off by Zach Reid, gathered by Whitlock. Hand pass to Georgiades, left forward pocket, he's got it. And this seesawing contest continues. Georgiades puts through his 4th. And the Power are refusing to give up on this. It's a 2-point lead the way of the Bombers. 12-10-82 to Port Adelaide, 12-8-80. You score, we score. Who will finish up in front? We've still got about 12 minutes to go. 15 minutes gone in the final term. Chad Wingard and Bob Murphy with you on ABC Sport.
Yeah, we got the bookends of footy right there. So Zach Reid, who's had a really good day, Zach Reid, but in that little piece of play, he's dropped a mark that he should have taken, really. And then in his recovery from the drop mark, it's a missed tackle. And it ends up in the capable hands of Mitch Georgiades. And for a big man just to roll onto his opposite foot and finish with a goal from that angle is all class.
It's 2 points the margin here at Docklands. 15 minutes played in the final term. Sweet gets the tap out down to Will Brodie, curling it across the broadcast wing. Running onto it is Zaddo. Collects on the half volley, and he'll curl this ball inside forward 50 perfectly for Whitlock to take the mark directly in front of goal, 40 metres out, to give Port Adelaide back the lead.
Zaddo's had a pretty important last quarter here, just his ability to take a ground ball, take some space and just put it in a dangerous area. I mean, it's really almost whoever gets a centre clearance is kicking a goal. That's what it feels like.
Jack Whitlock directly in front of goal to give the Power back the lead in this final term. The umpire shuffles a little, but he slots it through And the power is back in front. Port Adelaide up by 4 points, 13-8-86. Essendon 12-10-82. 17 minutes played in the final term, but I think there might be a few more goals in this one.
So, Clinchy, I wouldn't have thought about ladder positions and draft picks, but you brought it up. So let's keep an eye on field positions.
Yep.
If there's any unusual tactics employed here by Essendon, doesn't seem like that so far.
How sore is Peter Wright's right now? You're the right guy I want alongside me for this as we do a bit of a...
I think Peter's foot is NQR. So.
Did you hear which leg it was, though?
I heard it was right and I shuddered. I didn't mention it. I'll leave it up to you three clowns.
Port Adelaide back in front by 4 points. Back in the middle of the ground. Brian one down the tap. Got it to centre field. Essendon up to half forward. In front, Bergman trying to juggle the mark against Perkins. Then he's gathering the footy. Had an arm pinned as he can't get a hand pass away. The umpire says no prior opportunity, so a ball up and centre half forward for the Bombers. Bryant, one down the tap. Ollie Wines tries to burst back defensively. Hand pass a little loose. Chance for Virgo Vicentini, who tries to knock it out, but straight into the path of Richards of Port Adelaide. Kicks it over the head of Bammett. Racing back at him. It's a beautiful spin, but Bammett lays the tackle. Ball spills clear, holding the ball. Now, for half a moment, Whitlock thought about taking the advantage. He thinks better of it now. Leaves it for Bammett. That short pass fails to hit Ollie Wines, so has to get the hand pass back. And Bammett sends it long up the wing. Not a great kick for Whitlock. The intercepting mark taken by Zach Merritt of the Bombers.
Long kick down the city wing from Zach Merritt. Perfectly paced for Perkins to mark. Needs his teammates to run ahead of him. He gives them the time to do that. Perkins just wants to go directly inside, forward 50. Perhaps Caddy got a little shove, falls down to Kako anyway. He tries to get around O'Brien as he's getting tackled. Hand pass to Caddy. Perhaps gets taken high again. No free kick. Ball spills out. Ware takes it for Port Adelaide. He will clear it away from the danger zone. Although in the end, Whitlock had to come in and punch it away from an Essendon mark to keep it in neutral territory over the boundary line, where there will be a throw in half forward for Essendon. Port Adelaide ahead by 4 points, 19 minutes played in the final term of these two sides season.
Thrown back in. Shoved out of it, Van Wyck by Brian. Umpire says that was all okay, and Setterfield locks the ball up on the pain of 50 for Essendon. Port Adelaide by 4 points, chasing their 7th win of the season. And the first-year coach, Josh Carr, from the stoppage, taken by Ollie Wines, kicks it straight up in the air. Brodie has it hugged to his chest. It didn't go 15, and he's locked up at right half forward for the Bombers. Umpire throws it up once more. Brian sharks it forward, gains a few metres. Worked out of it. Merritt gets the hand pass away, and then off balance. The kick from Setterfield to the goal square. Caddy can't take the mark. Quick back onto it. Trying to get a hand pass clear. Kondo Giannis jams it on his boot and misses to the left-hand side. Port Adelaide by 3 points. It would have been the go-ahead goal. Not to be. Still plenty of time. 20 minutes gone in the final term on ABC Sport.
3 goals apiece in this final term. As Essendon by 1 point at three-quarter time. It's now Port Adelaide up by 3 as Jones takes the kick in. Gets it all the way out to centre wing, where Setterfield will gather for Essendon. Hand pass to Roberts. Can handball it across to McGrath. Chips it to Jones. Just switching it across to the dock side of this stadium under the roof. Beautiful Melbourne day and a tight finish coming up. Jones stays safe and kicks to Reid as Reid switches it back to the city wing, and Setterfield will mark. Right on centre wing. Can run down and then give his kick everything he has to get it inside forward 50. Perkins rises at the right moment and pulls down the mark. And Archie Perkins has a step shot at goal coming up from 45 metres out, a tougher than 45-degree angle. Port Adelaide is up by 3 points as Perkins lines up to take his kick.
Well, he's had some nice moments today, Archie Perkins. Probably none quite as glamorous as that. He just floated beautifully over the Port Adelaide defender there and took it at his highest point, not the ball's highest point, because that would have been at the middle part of the kick, Chad. It's his highest point. It's just an important point to make.
I like your distinction. As Archie Perkins releases the kick. That is a good-looking kick. And Perkins has put the Dons back in front. Just 2 wins for the season, Essendon. Their fans have come out today and they are desperate for their team to stay ahead. Ahead by 3 points at the moment. 22 minutes have been played in this final term. 13-11-89 Essendon. Port Adelaide 13-8-86. 22 minutes played.
And Archie Perkins, he found himself by himself inside the forward 50, and we used to call it the old neck brace because no one from Port Adelaide actually swiveled their head to see where their opposition player was. He was by himself for about 10-15 seconds. The pack drawn up the field. And obviously the person who kicked, I'm not sure who kicked it inside forward 50, but he took an extra 3 or 4 steps to get that depth kick. And by himself, he dictated the contest, run and jump at his highest point of the ball.
His highest point, not the balls.
And it's right. Great finish.
4th lead change of the match, second in this final quarter. Van Wyk one down the tap, got it away for Port Adelaide. Wines to Richards, up inside 50. Durden dropped the mark, slick hand pass on the run. The bouncing shot on goal is going to go through. A superb finish there. Morea streaming through the middle of the ground, was able to link up with the hand pass and immediately answer back. Port Adelaide back in front by 3 points. 5th lead change of the match. 14-8-92 to the Bombers, 13-11-89. It was a good piece of handwork from Corey Durden, who got the hand pass away, and in the end, a nice finish from Christian Moraes to put through his first goal of the afternoon.
It's either a ding-dong battle here or no one's quite sure if they want to win this game or not. You could make the argument either way. It's an unusual afternoon at the footy, but we've got a close one here. It does feel like Essendon, as inspired and as exuberant as they are having to work pretty hard for their goals, and Port Adelaide seem to be on their heels and then come to life and kick pretty easy ones in reply.
It's the 3rd lead change of this quarter so far, and the 6th of the match between these two sides. Port Adelaide ahead by 3, a secondary ball up to come in the centre of Docklands. Brian gets a tap out towards Sharp. He's held on to him. Wines locks him up, and it is a high tackle. So the free kick will be coming back to Dyson Sharp. Still in the centre of Docklands in the 2 centre circles. His side now down by 3 points. Launches the footy inside forward 50. Vigo Visentini can't mark. Ball spills through his grasp. Here is Clark. Can't do anything with the footy this time. Gets wrapped up and taken to the turf for a ball up 40 metres out from Essendon's goal. Port ahead by 3 points. 24 minutes played in the final term.
Thrown up Van Wyk and Bryan. Van Wyk one down the tap into the direction of Ollie Wines. Half pass to Berry. Kicks around his body. The power to half back. Bammett. Was he shoved out of it? He was, says the umpire. Against Mason Redmond. Andrew from Perth. 0437 774 774. For the love of God, can someone please explain Essendon a tank? I don't want us to lose the number 1 draft pick. Let us know your thoughts on the SMS as to what you prefer to do. Do you want a 3rd win for the season, or would you want the number 1 draft pick? Whitlock from half-back sends the power up towards half-forward, and Burgoyne was held.
I'm looking forward to hearing Chad Wingard's thoughts on this. I've gone with Essendon should win, but we haven't heard from Wingard yet.
I'll come to him in just a moment. Chase Burgoyne with 27 disposals, 7 clearances, 8 tackles and 2 goals. So the question is to who might play alongside Connor Rosie and Jason Horne-Francis next season. They've got one of their answers if Zach Butters does depart.
Heavy silence from Wingard. Heavy silence.
Chips it over the top to Bergman. He has it at left half forward. Sends it long into the pocket. Where's Georgiades? Bammett spalls it down. Daywick through traffic. Tackle, ball spills out. Georgiades tries to knock it out for Port Adelaide. Left forward pocket for the power. And the umpire comes across as the numbers dive on top.
Oh, they've of course got to win. I mean, first pick, second pick, you still got to make it count. It's what you do with the development of the player.
Forward 50 for Port Adelaide. Whitlock tried to get a kick away, smothered. Van Wyk has a go. This skies up into the sky. Stops down and bounces on the turf. O'Brien dives on top of it. And a ball up inside forward 50, down to Tim Morgan on the boundary.
Yeah, crowd figure just went up, 29,200. So well done to the Bombers fans for turning out. Certainly that's a terrific crowd and well above what was expected.
Good result under the roof. 29,000 compared to the 15 that were here on Thursday night. There's another ball up inside forward 50 for Port Adelaide, up by 3 points, 25 metres out from goal. Umpire tosses it up. Jones comes in, takes the footy, but Van Wyk and Wines wrap him up, and it'll be another ball up inside forward 50 as the Power keep that lead.
Van Wyk wins down the tap into the left forward pocket for Port Adelaide. Desperate defending here. Artemis slays the tackle with Langford. if Essendon win and Richmond get the first pick and they give it to Port Adelaide for Zach Butters, then in Port Adelaide the real winners. 0437 774 774. I can't say I don't mind the thinking, as it's tapped out towards the boundary line. Centrefield trying to keep it alive for the Bombers. Lost possession. Moraes gathers, swings it around his body in the direction at half forward. No mark claimed in the end by Whitlock. It's tight towards the boundary line. Farrow came charging in. The umpire's paid holding the ball. Essendon will get it back at right half back. Port Adelaide by 3 points. 27 minutes gone, final term.
Doesn't always tell the full story, the tackle stat, but that is the 71st tackle from the Essendon Footy Club today.
Good intent. Barrow, the Western Australian who debuted this year, brings the kick to centre wing, and Essendon continue to bring it down the ground. Kick comes out towards Unwin, who puts it inside forward. 50. Clark Rose went too high, gave away the free kick, falling into the back of Ware, who in the end takes the free kick for Port Adelaide. He sends it out towards the wing. Poor players falling down left, right and centre. Umpire hasn't blown a whistle, or he has. No. Play on. Farrow takes the kick and just spears the pass to Vigo Vicentini. Hand passes it across to the captain in McGrath. Inside forward 50. He sends it. Caddy slips over. And so Lockie Jones marks with the ball left back pocket for Port Adelaide. They're up by 3 points.
They're playing with plenty of heart, the Bombers, but when it comes to their forward 50 entries, it is just kick it in there as high and as long as you possibly can and hope that Nate Caddy takes mark of the season. But it's not a whole lot of thought to it, not a lot of finesse.
Jones gave it around the back to Burn. Jones kicks to the back pocket. Ollie Wines takes the mark, sends it up the wing. And left half back, here's Van Wyck. Alex Van Wyck, 203 centimetres, the 23-year-old. Turns it, goes back inside defensive 50 and Wines. Mark still in the left back pocket. There's 3 minutes and change still to go. So it's a long time for Port Adelaide to do this. Leading by 3 points. Looking up to Bergman, who takes the mark at left half back. Can the Bombers be disciplined to pick up an opponent each as the kick up the wing? Van Wyck's the target once more. Bumped off it by Artemis. Spills the way of Farrow. Feigns the hand pass. Drives the Bombers inside 50. Clark and Caddy are both there. Great defensive work by Lai, who spoils it out of play. Josh Lai got a hand in there and sees the ball out of play. Right forward pocket for the Bombers. Port Adelaide by 3 points.
29 minutes played in this final term. Essendon need a score from this throw in. Brian just taps it away. Chasing after it is Berry and Sharp, and they'll see it over the line for another throw in, just a little closer to Essendon goals. Fans trying to get them over the line. This final term, 29,000 under the roof of Docklands as Brian taps it down. Ware overruns the footy for the Power. Brian will go back in and try and dig it out for Essendon. In the end, it stacks on top of Jacob Ware. Unwin gets off the top of the pack. And we'll have another ball up inside forward 50 for Essendon. It's Brian and Van Wyck in the ruck. A little tap down comes, and again it's all locked up. So plenty of congestion around the footy inside the forward 50 for Essendon. Port Adelaide still leading by 3, late stages of this match.
Brian tries to win down the tap. Van Wyck knocks it away. Merritt gets a hand pass away to Farrow. Drew an opponent. It's a free kick. High contact against, I think it's going the way of Zach Merritt as he gets to his feet. He has it in the right forward pocket. He went propelling back, making sure the umpire saw the contact was there. And a man who could be playing in his last game for the club could potentially give the Bombers the lead with 2 minutes of change to go, which would deny them the #1 draft pick.
This is a novel. This is not a kick at goal. This is a 300-page novel here.
Who's got the script?
And now all the fans are aware. Zach Merritt with a shiner under the right arm.
What a twist in the Bombs away, Docco.
Zach Merritt to give the Bombers the lead from the right forward pocket. He sends it straight through, and they come from everywhere to celebrate with him. There's no denying what it means for the Essendon players, as they are in a huddle at half forward, and they want their former captain to hang around. Dobson from the right forward pocket, and we have our 6th lead change of the match. Essendon in front with under 2 minutes to go. 14-11-95 to Port Adelaide, 14-8-92. 5 goals apiece in the final term. With victory this afternoon, the Bombers would jump above Richmond with a better percentage. It would mean Richmond would claim the wooden spoon and take the #1 draft pick. Chad Wingard and Bob Murphy, as we see the reaction on our monitor from the Essendon bench. Dean Solomon was celebrating.
They want to win. I mean, everyone in this moment is pointing what they're going to do because they know not much time is left on the clock. The winger's going to fold back. They want to win this.
Yeah,
this is huge.
It's heartwarming. I love what they're doing today, the Bombers.
Been a big season in the Bombers. What's left for them in these final few minutes? Sweet down to Burgoyne. Entry inside forward 50. Can the power deny the Bombers a dream win? The pass is delivered inside forward 50. Will be a mark and a shot at goal to Mitch Georgiades.
Port Adelaide, it's like they only remember they're in a game of footy once Bombers actually kick a goal and they go, oh, that's right, yeah. Our job is to do the same up the other end, and gee, they can do it quickly on the reply.
So Mitch Georgiades, his side down by 3 points in a seesawing final term. 45-degree angle, 50 metres out. We're right behind the kick as it sails through. And there is another lead change at Docklands. It is Port back up by 3 points. 32 minutes played in the final term. Georgiades has 5. At the other end of the ground, Nate Caddy has 6. Just 3 points in this match, but it is Port Adelaide with the lead. A minute left to play.
So Caddy takes himself to full forward. Merritt's put himself in the centre of the ground. Has he? Yes. Yep. Oh, no, he's going forward, Zach.
He's been told to get out.
He's going forward, Zach.
And that matchup between Georgiades and Langford, it's been an interesting game. At one stage, Georgiades got so frustrated he gave away a few free kicks trying to use his size. And the Bombers are back on the bottom for the now. Port Adelaide by 3 points, back in the middle of the ground. Tap comes down the way of Merritt. McGrath sends it inside 50. Bergman makes the spoil. Burne-Jones left it behind. Kako tries to knock it out. Does that Merritt? He's tackled and brought down. 45 metres out from the Bombers' goal. 33 minutes gone in the last term. Time starting to tick down. Port Adelaide by 3 points. Virgo Vicentini wins the tap to centre field, breaks the tackle. Hand pass to McGrath in game 200. It's off line to the left. Caddy wrestling. Offhands is still in there. Perkins can't gather. Lai keeps it in. He drives them out of defence. Sends the power to half back. The wrestling with Georgiades. Clears the ball to the back. Brought down. The power players at half forward, although now Moraes is going to get on the end of it. He just needs to compose himself. Chips it out in front of Georgiades. Racing after it. Langford after him. Crashes into Reid. Gets a hand pass forward to Whitlock. He gathers. Dribbles it towards goal and finishes it. Jack Whitlock dribbles through a goal from the right forward pocket as the power go from one end of the ground to the other. It was frenetic. It was chaotic. And in the end, Jack Whitlock puts through his first goal of the afternoon. Make that now his second as he gives Port Adelaide a 9-point lead with time now running out for Essendon fans, who it is now become dead silent under the roof here at Docklands. 16-8, 104 Port Adelaide to Essendon 14-11-95. Oh, the drama of a round 24 game with just the wooden spoon at stake.
Game of the year. Who would have thought? That has been a sensational finish to this game of footy. Not a lot on offer for either side, but they have thrown everything at it, particularly in this last quarter. Seesawing affair.
Up goes the ball in the centre of Docklands. Port Adelaide ahead by 9. And there's a free kick in the ruck contest. Jordan Sweet, the power ruck, will win it. Centre circles of this stadium. He goes to balk around his opposing ruck in Vicentini. Moves it on to Richards. Hand passes it out to centre wing where Ware will mark. Curls it inside forward 50. And there was a cheap thrill in the final round of the season for both these two sides. Port Adelaide comes out on top after a seesawing final term. It means that Essendon will finish in 18th position and win the wooden spoon. Port Adelaide finally win a close one in this season, their 7th win of the year. They'll finish with 7 wins and 16 losses. Bombers will finish 2 wins, 20 losses on the wooden spoon. Port Adelaide winners by 9 points, 16-8, 104 to Essendon, 14-11, 95. Here's one of the best songs in the competition. intent as they came into this match with the chance of finishing 18th place, jumping up into 17th place, or of course securing that number 1 draft pick. In the end, it is Port Adelaide winners by 10 points. They were up by 4 points at quarter time. They got up by 16 points at the main break. So that was when Essendon began to fight back in that third term, and were up by a point coming into the final change, where it looked like Zach Merritt might have put through the goal and given them the win. Twist of fate. It was 2 goals down the other end. That means Port Adelaide are winners by 10 points. Mitch Georgiades with 5 goals for the winning side, and Nate Caddy with 6 for Essendon.
It's more than a sport, it's the true Port Adelaide tradition. We'll never stop till we're top. There's history here in the making. We have the power to win. We'll never give in till the flag is ours for the taking.
So 2 wins for Port Adelaide across the season against Essendon. Earlier on in the year, it was 63 points. Today it's just 10. Port Adelaide 16-9, 105. Essendon 14-11 at 95 as they go and clap their cheer squad towards the Coventry end of this ground. 29,200 in Docklands today for what really had no major ramifications on the season other than a little bit of pride on the line. The goal kickers, Nate Caddy, as I mentioned, with a career-high 6 goals. 3 goals to Angus Clark, 2 to Peter Wright, Archie Perkins, Isaac Kako, and Zach Merritt with a single. Might have been his last goal for the club. We'll wait and see how that pans out over the off-season. And then for Port Adelaide, 5 to Mitch Georgiades, 2 to Mitch Zaddo, 2 to Jack Whitlock, 2 to Jace Burgoyne, and then singles to Christian Moraes, Ollie Wines, Jordan Sweet, Tom Anastastopoulos and Xavier Bammett for Port Adelaide to win by 10 points in the final round of the home and away season.
So there you go. Bit of it for everyone, really, in the end. Nate Caddy booted 6, Miss Georgiades booted 5. We had 7 lead changes throughout the match. The majority of those, 5 of them were in the final quarter. The Bombers had 2 occasions where they were able to take the lead, and Port Adelaide in the end found the win. And as you touched on, was their record in those close finishes. That's 2 wins from their 10 games by 14 points or less. Their other one came against the West Coast Eagles back in round 13. They won by 6 points. So they do finally win one of the tight ones, which has been so much of the narrative under Josh Carr in his first season as coach of Port Adelaide. They head down to thank their fans. Zach Butters is out there. Connor Rosie is out there. And for the Power, they get the chance to sing the song one last time in season 2026. The thoughts of our experts, Chad Wingard and Bob Murphy. What did you make of it all in the end?
Oh, footy's the winner. I think, as Bob will say, I'm sure I stole his thunder, but the game was entertaining. Like, it was an entertaining game. So the AFL won there. Essendon kept their number 1 pick, but they fought hard. So a lot of their younger players and the players that obviously have questioned with McGrath being his trying game and Zach Merritt had influence on the game. You see their future with Nate Caddy. So I saw enough there for Bombers to be excited. And for Port Adelaide, you just want to see, I suppose, what they can do when they're at their best. And they showed enough of signs at times through this, I suppose, game that they showed their best, especially their centre bounce clearance battle. I mean, they kicked, I think, 5 goals from their centre bounce. I mean, yes, does that say more about Essendon than it does Port Adelaide? Potentially, yes. But again, Port Adelaide have got a lot of players out. So what's next for Port Adelaide next year would be one to question, but also the same for Essendon. But I think it was if you said at the start of the day, this is what you're going to get, I think we got a lot more than what we thought.
In a tough year for the Essendon Footy Club, I think today was a good day for them. 29,000 fans rolled out to see them, which is an impressive number. Their young star, their Colt, has a day out and kicked 6 goals. There are some other bright moments, but they just tried hard. They played with real passion. They played with an appetite to take the game on. They defended better. There's still a fair bit of work to do with their method and their structure, but they played with a fair bit of heart today, and they represented the jumper really, really well. They've got a fair bit of work to do, and there's so many unknowns about what's happening with that footy club. Port Adelaide wasn't all that impressed with Port Adelaide, to be honest. They just did enough to get over the line, but that's about it. They responded when Essendon would hit the scoreboard, and they kicked quick, easy goals. But there were huge portions of this afternoon where Port Adelaide looked pretty lethargic. So I think Essendon, it's probably a performance of Essendon today that we expected earlier in the season and when a coach change over. But look, in isolation, they were good today.
Mitch Georgiades is the captain, leaves Port Adelaide off. Winners by 10 points. Down to Tim Morgan in the power rooms.
Yeah, they're just circling up here as they prepare to get into the song. So let's hear it.
The power to win, the power to rule. Come on, Port Adelaide Division. We are the power from what? It's more than a sport, it's the truth. Port Adelaide Division. We're going to stop, to the top. History on the never win. Never win, never give in. To the flag is ours for the take. Power!
Port Adelaide winners by 10 points, 16-9, 105 to Essendon, 14-11, 95. Their 7th win of the season under first-year coach Josh Carr, and they snap a 6-game losing streak, having last defeated North Melbourne back in round 17 of the AFL. Zach Merritt kicked the go-ahead goal for the Bombers at the 31-minute mark, and at that stage, all his fans and his teammates were high-fiving and celebrating. But then some composure from Mitch Georgiades, who banged through his 5th, having got the centre clearance from the right forward pocket. Cool as a cucumber, kicked it from about 45 metres out and nailed it through to give Port Adelaide back the lead. Then they worked it from one end of the ground to the other. And Jack Whitlock was able to put through his 2nd goal as he dribbled through a goal from the right forward pocket. So it means Port Adelaide, I don't think they moved. They finish in 15th spot on the ladder. 7 wins and 16 losses. While for the Bombers, it is their 5th wooden spoon and their first since 2016. And a time of real challenge for Dean Solomon as the interim coach comes to an end. And we shall await the appointment as to who will be the next coach of the Bombers, as Andy McGrath celebrated his 200th game this afternoon.
He was very good today, the skipper.
Yeah.
It's been a tough year for Andy McGrath. First year as captain, played his 200th game today. He's been a very good servant for the Essendon Footy Club. I thought he can hold his head extremely high. I thought he was pretty bloody good today.
Not good for the Bombs Away documentary, was it? When Merritt was kicking the goal, did you think we've got the finale here?
When he kicked it, that was probably where I'd hit end of record right there. That was like
episode.
To be continued. That was the perfect end. We pretend that the last.
Do you wish to continue watching?
The last 3 minutes that won't make it in the doco.
Although the camera following them into the rooms to see whether they're actually happy that they lost or a bit disappointed might be an intriguing backstory, but it means the Bombers do get the number 1 draft pick, which, as you pointed out on the SMS 0437 774 774. It's not like that's not compromised with Cody Walker, potential number 1 draft pick, father-son selection for the Bombers, for the Blues, I should say, with Andrew Walker, his dad, a former pick 2, and Dougie Cochran potentially going to go to Port Adelaide. Is he potentially a number 1 draft pick as well? They're both probably in the top 3, aren't they?
Yeah, both will go 1 or 2 either way. The cookie crumbles, but Essendon, they'll probably obviously bid. I'm not sure if they can bid twice, but they'll bid on one of them, if not both of them. And they've still got the likes of Archie Butler. They've obviously got Harry Van Houten, if they want him as well as a ruckman. They've got some top-end talent. I mean, pick 3, which they'll end up getting, is still significant talent. And someone's going to come in and impact pretty much straight away.
Brendan on the SMS asks, is that Butters staying in Melbourne or going back to Adelaide tonight? That's a little unfair, but he is here with his captain in Connor Rosie, not playing this afternoon, but having been in this position, Chad, before, they had their exit interviews relatively quickly. How soon will we know what his future is?
I'd expect this week. Following week. I reckon it'd be end of next week that he would know.
They fly back to Adelaide today. They have their exit meeting.
They'll have their team review. They'll have their team review Monday, Tuesday, and then obviously it's scattered over 2 weeks because they're going to get through, depending what their SNFL. I don't think they're playing finals. And
it'll be the quickest.
SNFL.
It'll be the quickest version of it.
100%. He would have known. I was a little bit different because I didn't know until trade week because I had no intentions to leaving throughout the season. And then obviously the clubs come to me with saying, we want you to explore your options. So a little bit different with Butters because he's obviously, from all report, that he's
driving
leaving.
the bus.
Yes.
Yep. We're going to hopefully bring you a Port Adelaide interview. We are heading to the SCG for Sydney and North Melbourne. In the AFLW earlier, it was the Sydney Swans who won by 24 points over the Bombers. They got a standing ovation as the players made their way from the field. A record crowd of 16,672 in at the SCG, so more than double the previous record for a Swans AFLW game at North Sydney Oval of 8,264. So for most of our audience, we're heading there in around 7 minutes or so. So I'll give you some numbers and then we'll get the 3, 2 and 1 for the ABC Footballer of the Year, and that freezes up if we do get an interview in before we head off. Jace Burgoyne led the way with 30 disposals. He finished with 7 clearances, 8 tackles, 9 score involvements and 2 goals. Ollie Wines with 27. Darcy Byrne-Jones with 26 for Port Adelaide, while Will Setterfield led the way for the Bombers with 32. He had 10 tackles and 7 clearances. Zach Merritt finished with 32 and a goal. While in front of goal, it was Mitch Georgiades who booted 5 goals, 1. And Nate Caddy with a career best, the 21-year-old. He finishes with 46 goals for the season as Essendon's leading goal kicker, and a career high for him this afternoon with 6 goals. Port Adelaide's 10-point victory over the Bombers here at Docklands. The votes for the ABC Footballer of the Year.
I've been handed the votes today, and I am taking that responsibility very seriously because it's a critical award in the football landscape.
I'm not sure the winner's in this game, but I appreciate that.
It's already been locked up, but...
Yeah.
Well, don't pop my balloon before.
Sorry.
What should I even give them? Like now the votes feel like a dead rubber. Okay, well, despite all of that enthusiasm and the build up from my colleagues, I've given 1 vote to Mitch Georgiades, who had moments in the game where I felt like he almost had lost his way. He dropped his body language, but he did have significant influence over the game. He ends up with 5 goals and kicked the sealer from a really, really tight angle. He did have a bit of a mixed bag around it, but